Hello, my friends. Welcome back. It's good to see you all. I hope that you're doing well. Hang on. I guess the music hasn't. I thought music was on, but I suppose that it is not. Well, that's odd. Hang on a second. I'm gonna do there. Okay. Well, hello, everyone. It's so good to see you all. Vassal, Castle. Yes, Erwin. Hello. It's good to see you. Welcome in. Hello, 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 my friends. Frost, good evening. Destiny, good evening. Bear, good evening. Sword Talk, good evening. I saw was it Mary Beth or Milo is in, Matty is in, Marina, hello, good to see you. And then Molly Sue was in. Yes, yes. Hello, 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 friends. I will take it that Matty raided in, so we'll give him his customary toot on the raid horn. Sword Talk, hello, it's good to see you. Storm the gates he did. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. And Tyson, hello, my friend. Good to see you. How are things going? How's your testing going? We have the bear in, don't we? I hope so. Ah. Book 3 coming along nicely. Very good. Frost, thank you kindly, my friend. Bear is here. Marina, it's good to see you. I hope that you're feeling well. I hope you're doing well. I hope that the holidays are treating you all right. We're finally cold out here where the lady and I are, and it's very nice. It's nice to have a little bit of a chill on us. It's been so hot. But next week we're getting back up into the 70s again. Frost, Bear, Erin, Destiny, Marina, Milu, Matty, and Sordog. Alright, excellent. You once told me no zombie apocalypse. I'm about to unleash it. And Quirt is in. I think I saw Quirt drop in. Quirt, hello, my friend. Good to see you, brother. I'm glad you're here. I have two things I want to show you guys before we start reading. We are. Oh, my darling, could you do me a favor? Could you grab me a bottle of water, please? You got the axolotls up on Insta. Very good. It has been in the 60s and 70s here all week. I would like for some. Thank you, my love. That was very quick. How diligent you are. We had our first snow here today. We have 2 feet of snow outside. I'm okay with everything going on. Well, you put dots, so I'm presuming there's something going on I'm either not remembering or not aware of, but I'm glad that you're at least doing okay. 2 feet of snow outside and more coming tomorrow. I am jealous. I will trade you. It's raining here in New Zealand. I would throw so many things into a volcano for some rain and snow. Marina says hello. We got quite a bit of snow here the other day. Yeah, there's so. I would. Frost also says hello. But hello, welcome in. I have a couple of things to show everybody before we get in. Bear, are you in, brother? Just want to make sure Bear is in before I get started up. Because I'm going to embarrass the bear. He's trying. Barry briefly fought volcano on legs. That sounds like a lot of fun. Sotox says hi to the lady of the house. The lady of the tavern is doing quite well. She's right across from me. Drinking kids making noises for fun, as they do. I think I hear barf BRB. Somebody making barfing noises. Got to be careful with that. So while I'm waiting to see if Bear is still here, I found this absolutely lovely paperback, rough-edged paperback. Now, I don't know how many of you are fans of C.S. Lewis. Yeah, I can check it real quick. Yeah, I absolutely love C.S. Lewis. C.S. Lewis is I will continue to argue one of the best authors ever. Ironically, though, Narnia is not the best thing he ever wrote. He wrote a bunch of other things that I thought were much better uh, than the Chronicles of Narnia. And this beautiful little paperback is actually one of the things that I think is one of his more brilliant bits of writing. So this is such a beautiful. This paperback I got on sale for $6, and it is it's got a nice soft texture to it. You can hear the texture on it. It's got these hard flaps on the inside, and it's got this rough edge to the. So you can see it's kind of got a rough, uneven edge to it. So it makes it look like they are letters stuffed into a book. Narnia helped me escape life pre-Harry Potter outside of Nana's dressing table, but there was a door under it that led to Narnia. That's very good. I tried weed for the first time and fell asleep. That'll happen. Be very careful. Be very careful, Erin. It can be useful for certain things, but you also don't want to get your. I don't mean to say good, but good. Because I find that people, when you start using things to help you get away. Kate waffle for a bit. Chip needs a bathroom break. It's slippery outside. All right. What? Did you get sign of affection? You did not. We got Free Run and Apothecary Diaries. I see. But yeah, so this is meant to look like it is a bunch of letters stuffed into a book. And this is one of my favorite things ever written by C.S. Lewis. So for anybody who doesn't know, C.S. Lewis was an ardent and stark atheist. He was absolutely probably one of the most outspoken atheists of his time. And his very good friend, J.R.R. Tolkien, Professor Tolkien, was one of the most devout and textbook Catholics you will ever find. And the exposure of C.S. Lewis to Tolkien and their many discussions about God and about Christianity and about Catholicism eventually led to Lewis converting to Christianity and then him essentially becoming an even more ardent Christian than Tolkien was. And their letters back and forth, if you've never read the letters back and forth between Lewis and Tolkien about Christianity, it is one of the most brilliant discussions between two incredibly brilliant minds that has ever been put to paper. I need something to take me away tonight, but being a driver makes sure I can't escape life for any time. Well, I tell you what, Marina, I'll do my best to keep it light and lively and joyful tonight, so that whatever you're going through, the tavern will help pull it all away. That's all right, Bear. I appreciate you, brother. You stay here for a minute though. We're talking about this. Because I found this really beautiful, because again, it's got like this rough edge, like these are letters that were put into a book, and it's got this really nice soft texture to it. But I picked up, because I don't have a physical copy of the Screwtape Letters anymore. Yeah, even if you're not Christian, even if you're not a fan of either of their books, their letters between Tolkien and Lewis are some of the best. Like, the best. What am I looking for? Is some of the best analysis, some of the best observation of human nature and psychology that you can read anywhere. Like, you can read 1,000 psychology books, you can read 1,000 sociology books, you can read 1,000 books on the economics of history, and they will not give you as much depth as the letters between Tolkien and Lewis as Tolkien was going through his process of becoming a Christian. They're just really brilliant observations of the human condition. And Screwtape Letters is sort of the total manifestation of that. I'll go. I haven't been on Discord or Guilded the last couple of days, Marina, because the lady and I are busting our butts for work. But I'll go in and I'll take a look once things are done. For the record, my littlest has been fighting sleep for an hour. You just put him to sleep with waffles. It's what I do. It's what I do. The Screwtape Letters is a brilliant, like I said, sort of the apex of Lewis's journey into Christianity. And what it is it is a series of letters between a doctor, if you will, named Wormwood, and his overseer called Screwtape. And it is a back and forth between these two, and it is this brilliant observation of the psychology of human beings. And of course, it is in the context of Christian morality, but it is such a brilliant look at human psychology. It's really, really, really well done. Hello, my dear friend. Sounds like I came in during a really interesting, but you did, Hillary, you did. We were talking about C.S. Lewis and Tolkien and sort of Lewis's journey towards being a very ardent Catholic, a very devout Christian, through his exposure to persons like J.R.R. Tolkien, who was a very devout and very outspoken Catholic. One of the things that tends to shock people is Tolkien said about The Lord of the Rings is that while he didn't believe in allegory, The Lord of the Rings is wholly and completely a Catholic work. Hello, Castle. I apologize for my lateness. My cat required dental surgery and a blood test revealed she is now dead. Well, I'm sorry to hear about your kitty cat. I hope that you can help make her comfortable, but you didn't miss a whole lot. Ads in 5, and we've been snoozing them, so I'll finish up here, and then we'll run ads, and then we'll do the other thing that I came on to do. But yeah, this is a masterpiece of satire. If you ever want, like Matty, if you ever want to know how to properly write satire, read the Screwtape Letters. The Screwtape Letters is a masterpiece of satire. And it's just in general, if you want a good read, and again, I got this beautiful little paperback for $6. It was on sale on Amazon, so I managed to get it. And I love that it's got the rough edge to make it look like it's the letters and all of that. I'm sure none of you are as excited about this as I am, but I'm just sitting here gushing about the Screwtape Letters. But I love the Screwtape Letters. It is one of the best pieces of writing, just in general. Like the fiction wise and satire wise, this is, I believe, Lewis's best work. One of the best things Lewis ever wrote was this. And I love Narnia. I love Chronicles of Narnia. I think Chronicles of Narnia is a brilliant series. But the Screwtape Letters is one of the best things, if not the best thing that Lewis ever wrote. And if you've never read it, again, you don't have to be religious to enjoy it. If you've never read it, it is well worth a read. And again, it's essentially between a doctor and his overseer. The doctor is called Wormwood, the overseer is Screwtape. But the themality is that it is a demon, a higher demon and a lower demon that are discussing how to corrupt human beings. And it's such a brilliant look at human nature and the human condition and all of those things, all done through the lens of this satirical premise. And it's so good. just put it in my books list from my library. Excellent. Excellent. You absolutely should read the Screwtape Letters if you've never read it. Jonas, hello, it's good to see you. I'm going to lurk while I eat a feast. Sounds good to me. Super excited, I won a raffle, first time ever, and I got a new Kindle. So for the holiday, Lucas got me all the accessories for it. Hey, that's a party. Congratulations, well done. That's very nice. Oh. Wookie, hello! Good to see you, my friend. It's been a while. Alright, the next thing that I wanted to oh, we're gonna run ads real quick. Sorry for everybody over on Twitch. We gotta run ads real quick. We'll be right back. They're forcing me to do it. So we're gonna run 3 minutes, and then we'll have a whole hour without them. So we'll be right back. I finally finished school, 30 years old, and I'm not a cop. And I'm now a cop, better late than never. Hey, congratulations to that. I'll raise a glass for that. Hey, it doesn't matter how long it takes you, you took the exact amount of time that you needed to, and now you'll do brilliantly on the back end. Cheers to that, my friend. While everybody else is, while Twitch is on ads, I'll continue gushing about the Screwtape Letters. You're getting congrats from over on Twitch as well, Wookie, just so you're aware. So the start of the Screwtape Letters literally says, to J.R.R. Tolkien. And while we're waiting for while we're waiting for Twitch's ads to end, I'll read the preface for the Screwtape Letters to you guys. I have no intention of explaining how correspondence, which I now offer to the public, fell into my hands. There are two equal and opposite errors into which our race can fall about the devils. One is to disbelieve their existence. The other is to believe and feel an excessive and unhealthy interest in them. They themselves are equally pleased by both errors, and hail a materialist or a magician in the same delight. The sort of script which is used in this book can be very easily obtained by anyone who has once learned the knack, but ill-disposed or excitable people who might make bad use of it shall not learn it from me. Readers are advised to remember that the devil is a liar. Not everything that Screwtape says should be assumed to be true from his own angle. I've made no attempt to identify any of the human beings mentioned in the letters, but I think it very unlikely that portraits, say, of F.R. Spike or the patient's mother are wholly just. There is wishful thinking in hell as well as on earth. In conclusion, I ought to add that no effort has been made to clear up the chronology of the letters. Number 17 appears to have been composed before rationing became serious. But in general, the diabolical method of dating seems to bear no relation to terrestrial time, and I am not tempted to reproduce it. The history of the European War, except insofar as it happens now and then to impinge upon the spiritual condition of one human being, was obviously of no interest to Screwtape. So this was a letter, the preface was a letter that was written to C.S. Lewis, or to Tolkien by C.S. Lewis, at Magdalen College on the 5th of July, 1941. And most of this, I believe, now you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that most of this, I'm going to follow you there on there too. Well, excellent. We'll see you. Wookie, thank you for marking us on your map over on Twitch. Very glad to have you, my friend. But yeah, so most of this was actually written during World War II, which makes it all the more interesting Because in a time when quite literally the whole world was at its worst, Tolkien and Lewis were writing about this sort of analysis of the human condition. And it's so good. I cannot say enough how absolutely good it is. Beautiful. All right, looks like we're done with ads over on Twitch. Okay, so before we get started, Bear, are you still in, brother? Should be. Better not have gone anywhere. I'm watching the Diddy documentary on Netflix. Don't spoil it for me. I want to know how it ends. I'm just kidding. Technically, no. Wait, who is Agent Sauce? Is that... Agent Sauce that's Kai, right? Technically, the PlayStation's not supposed to be on. But if he's just in the call not playing games, then he can talk to you guys in the call. He can be on call with you guys, but he can't play video games right now. He's got homework to do. Kai, okay. Technically speaking, PlayStation's not supposed to be on, but as long as he doesn't get in any games and you guys are just talking, that's fine. Sorry guys, one of Everett's friends popped in over on Twitch to ask if Everett was breaking the rules. I respect the spy work there, Kai. I respect it. Ashley love, hello, good to see you. Okay, where is the bear at? Is he running about? Running amok? Yeah. So, I don't know if Bear is in, but the Bear sent me a lovely gift. And I think I know what it is based on the name, but I'm gonna pop it open for everyone, but I want to make sure Bear is in here. Esther, you said, I'm very tired. I've been up since around 3 a.m., past 24 hours administering medication for my cat. Suki, I may listen in the background. Well, Esther, make sure you rest as much as you need to. That's very important. Make sure you're resting as much as you need to. Get a new hot water service installed. That's all right, Bear. That's all right. Now, Bear, whenever Bear does anything for the lady and I, he asks us not to say anything. But I chronically just don't listen. So... the bear very kindly sent me this lovely gift. And again, I think I know what it is. I haven't opened it yet. I think I know what it is based on the name. But we're going to pop this open and we're going to look at what the bear sent. Yeah, I mean, you guys learned it from me, I guess, because you guys always do exactly the opposite of what I tell you to do too. So. Yeah, and this is what I thought it was. So it's from a lovely little company out in Australia that the bear frequents called Jericho, and they do beard products. And so I've mentioned this during Storytime before. That I've had a bit of a condition recently where my beard is thinning a bit, and Bear mentioned that he had some beard itch as well, and that they had helped. So anybody who's interested in supporting, or especially if you're in Australia, then Jericho. Men are disgusting. They can be, certainly, and men certainly have a greater ability to exercise their disgustingness than most. But I think it's important to make sure that we note that people are disgusting. People, when they want to be, will be very disgusting. Stopping to get dinner, then I'll be listening while I head home. All right, Tyson, drive safe, my friend. Drive safely. Okay, so it's got this really, really neat packaging on it. No, you're not, man. And that's why it's I always get upset with people online when people say like, oh, all women are this or all men are that. It's just such a bad precedence to set to say things like that, which is why there's the only reason why I address it, is that when you start talking poorly about the people who are supposed to be your counterparts, like I love the women in my life. I love all of the women who are here, a part of the community, and it's important that we judge people on their individual basis, not with broad spectrums. I am not a magician, Pam Dum. You'll have to forgive me. I can't read it. That's very long. I'll call you Pam. Panumdum Hiragana. Panumdummi Hiragana. Official. I'm just gonna call you Pam. I'm gonna call you Pam. We love you too, Aaron. We really do. No, and I like 100% Diddy is a terrible person. Terrible person. But it's important to note that there are terrible people of both sexes who do terrible things throughout history. And it's important to judge people individually. So it's more apt to say Diddy and the people who were associated with him were disgusting than just to say, yeah, him and his people. As a matter of fact, most celebrities who have been doing it for a long time are that way. We know that now. But yeah, it's important that we're careful with our words, because words mean things. So like, I tell young men all the time, they say, oh, well, women are impossible, or women are dumb, or all of these other things. I'm like, you don't know all women. You might know a dumb woman. You might know a woman who is impossible. But you say that, and you're going to have that opinion about every woman you ever meet, and you're never going to be happy. You're never going to be able to treat a woman well. So don't do that. That's bad. Yes, okay, so back to this. They've got this really brilliant package, and Bear says Australian owned and Australian made, and also made by an Australian Army veteran. It's like it's getting blanked out by the screen when my face is hidden. But they got this really neat like skull beard sticker and logo. It's very neat. I like it. So I'm gonna pop this open real quick. We are reading, by the way. The Bear just sent me a present, and I wanted everybody to open it with me. Which, whenever we get gifts, I try to open them where you guys can see, so you know that we got them one. Now, let's see. Beard scrubber. It says beard rough sucks. That's true. It does. It does. I would say probably most of the ones in that documentary that are associated with him. Anybody, and I don't know if we can say the names, like, I try not to bring up any of this modern stuff because I never know what somebody's going to get upset about and then flag me for. But, yeah, most people who exist in that area, yeah, the packaging is very neat. It's very, like, it's sort of like a little bit more of a classy sort of... Well, no. I was going to say Ed Hardy, but it doesn't look like Ed Hardy. Ed Hardy is very bright and boisterous. This is sort of like biker core. It's got like biker core designs on it. It's very nice. Very, very thoughtfully designed. Oh, speaking of, we were just talking about the devil. Look at that. You can't see the book. There we go. We were just talking about the devil. And right there on the packaging. Rich, hello! I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm doing the whole kitchen cleanup, then the roomie comes in, talking about, can I make dinner? He's got a friend over. Cool, but all these cupboards are to wash in bleach cleaner, so I guess who got yelled at when the veggies tasted like bleach? To be perfectly honest, that's and Pam, I am Castle. I don't know where you're coming from, and your name is coming up as very weird for me. So I don't know if you've been in before. YouTube updated a few weeks ago, and everybody's usernames on YouTube are strange. So this is a beard scrubber. Oh, that's very nice. Look at that. It's very nice. Thank you, Bear. So I'm assuming you sent me a whole beard kit thing, because this box is big. And if anybody wants to, now send Bear money, he spent his entire fortune to ship this to me in the United States. Because the shipping between Australia and the United States is ridiculous. So Bear obviously had to sell his house, sell his firstborn child, his car, and give up his pension just to send me all of this because of how much the things. I'm a Sri Lankan person. How do I say your name? Or what would you prefer to be called? Because your name is very long. We got Beard and Face Scrum. That's very nice. I don't normally do product openings, by the way. I know, Bear. I'm just kidding. I know you're not an imbecile. So you would, if it was too much, you wouldn't have sent it. But still, the shipping between here and there is so much. Got a really nice can of beer ball. Like, that is, you can't really see it on the camera, but they've got metallic print as a part of the can. That's really nice. A massive bottle of beard oil. That'll last me for a while. Thank you, Bear. And then beard conditioner and shampoo. There we go. Yeah, Bear, can you post a link to where you got all this over in the Discord? Oh, and he got me a fancy beard brush too. Look at that. I have a horsehair beard brush that the lady got me some time ago, but look at this. Oh, wow. That is very nicely made. It doesn't say what kind of wood it is, but seems like it's might be a walnut. Yeah, look at that. Lovey, come look at this. Huh? What? No, come over here and look at it, though. You're right across the way. Yeah, oh, your putty tats are on you? I'm sorry. How nice this little brush is. And then look at all of this stuff. Ridiculous. Ridiculous, man. Thank you. I love you, Bear. Appreciate you, brother.
Very nice.
Yeah, very nice. And just so that everyone's no one needs to feel tempted to send us gifts or anything. But if you do, I will embarrass you on stream for it. What?
The dolphin that broke off the ornament last year? It's missing pieces still.
Well, part of it is probably still attached. Tim, you broke your hand. How did you do that? Don't do that. You need that. You need your hand. See, I give good advice. Don't break your hand, because you need it. Well, now you told me not. Seriously, you guys don't ever need to feel like you have to send us anything. The lady and I do what we do because we love it. But Bear, this is absolutely a spectacular gift. It shall go to good use. The lady will make sure of it. I don't do much of my own beard care. The lady actually does it all. Tell you, if you want a healthy and happy beard, get yourself a beautiful woman who will come and just rub things in it. That's the way. That is the way. Ashley said, "Oh, I like the packaging. It's similar. I want to get this from Matthew, so I'm gonna get a hold of it." Yeah, Bear, go ahead and throw up a link in the Discord, and yeah, boar bristle brush is very, very nice. Very nicely done. Tim, how did you break your hand, brother? I'm gonna start reading here in a second, but how did you break your hand? What did you do? I chose the scent with a lady in mind. He got salted caramel. Because he chose it with you in mind. Yeah, the brush is really lovely. I'm not gonna take it back up. I just put it all away. I gotta put it all into the I fell on my scooter and tried to break my fall, but my fingers went backwards too far. Oh, rough. What did you break in your hand? Did you just break one bone? Did you dislocate your fingers? What happened? Rich says, I'd like to send you a drink with me attached to share one. Soon. Someday very soon. I stopped in just long enough to tell you I'm enjoying all of your shorts lately. They're freaking awesome. Have a great night, Castle. Thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate you. The lady and I actually have some longer videos coming out as well soon. Some very fun ones. Couple of ones that have been in production for a while, like our Katarina's Forza video, which Tim's voice is featuring. And then we have a couple on The Legend of Wukong that have been in production for a while. But it was good to see you, Elizabeth, and I'm glad that you've been enjoying. I do see you in the comments often, so I'm glad that you're popping in. So since you do the opposite of what we say, when I finally get published and send you a copy, please tell everyone. Well, if you send me a copy, I am gonna show everyone. That'll be what happens. They're probably dislocated. I'm on my way to the hospital. Tim, you haven't even gone to the hospital yet. Why are you in here? I appreciate you dropping in to say hello, but I'm not laughing at you. That's just, I was not prepared for you to say you haven't gone to the hospital yet. Go to the hospital, mate. Oh my God, go to the hospital. Yes, please go to the hospital. The packaging, like, this is some of the best packaging I've ever seen on beard care stuff. And I usually buy pretty good stuff. This is some of the best I've ever seen. They put a lot of effort into putting it together. What do you know about house elves, goblins, and knocker-type fairies? Can you please tell some stories about that sometime, please? Absolutely. Absolutely. Elizabeth, if you want to send me either an email or a message, so I remember, because the lady and I have hundreds of videos planned out at any given time, so it's very easy for me to forget. So send me a message so that I can put it into the roster. Yeah, Tim, like, I respect the gusto of coming in and typing to say hello when your hand is destroyed. But please, yeah, get to the emergency room. Hard to type with an injured hand, yes. Yeah. It is a nice gift, Teresa, it is. It is a very kind thing from Bear, I appreciate it. The bear is always spoiling the lady and I. Tim is loyal. Tim's been here for a long time. He and I met through a mutual friend some years ago, and he's been very supportive ever since. And we've traded back and forth some voice work for one another. Like I said, his voice appears in our Katarina's Forza video that's coming up. It's beautiful, Bear. It's absolutely lovely. The lady's gonna lather me up nicely tonight. I assure you. I'm using my good hand to text. What? Is somebody driving you to the hospital, Tim? You just make sure that you get there, and take care of it. Yeah, get some ice on that, Matty. Yeah, because if you're driving and texting and with a broken hand, it's way too much multitasking. There are more injuries gonna happen, Tim. Please get to the hospital safely and get your fingers checked out. And let us know what happens, please. Yeah. I'm in an Uber. Okay, all right. Uber is better. Uber is better. All right. That's there was so much information you did not give us, Tim. We were all worried. I'm glad you're in an Uber. I'm glad you're headed there. Just let us know what happens, and please make sure that you're being safe. Oh, coming in to give me a heart attack. Tim just comes in and says, I think I broke my hand. And I'm like, oh, bummer, Tim. I'm sorry you hurt your hand. and then you throw it at me that you've done, that you're not even at the hospital, you haven't even gotten it taken care of yet. I was not prepared for that response. Yeah, even Ashley says, yes, please go to the hospital. Tell people you punched a guy. Scooter story is fun too, I guess. Oh. Tim is a born storyteller, so he was building the tension with that one. He was making us wait. He's Butterscratch. Rob, long time no see, me son. Hello, welcome in. I know you lurk occasionally, but I haven't seen you in chat in a while. It's good to see you. Well, tell you what, that was all I had for you guys as far as no, we're not ending. I had a few announcements that I wanted to get to. But what do you guys say we start story time for the evening? For anyone who is new or who hasn't been in a while, we are in Darkness at Sethanon by Raymond E. Feist. This is the 4th book in the Magician series. And we are on chapter 11. We're almost halfway through. Once your beard smells of salted caramel, the lady might not be able to resist you. I mean, I don't want to brag. Already has a little bit of a heart now. I have to chain her to that chair over there, just in a regular time. So you put the salted caramel in. I'm gonna have to get bigger chains. Problem is, I was shouting in pain, and some imbecile yelled, "Shut the f up! I hate my neighborhood." Oh God, yeah, that's rough, Tim. But yeah, please make sure you get it looked at. You need your hands. Lady can't resist you already. Well, then now is this an overshare? No, I have to keep her, locked in there, or I wouldn't get any work done. But now that Bear has upped the ante, I'm gonna have to upgrade the restraints on her chair. All right. Let's get to story time, guys. Tim, just make sure you're relaxing, you're breathing deep, brother, and let us know. I have a slight blush going on here. Destiny chained me to the chair. I found out it was a mimic. I feel like I was a goblin sacrifice. They think that that's what they're constantly planning for you, is to sacrifice you to the goblins. Seems like it. Yeah, but Tim, just keep us up to date on what's going on, brother. Breathe deep. Breathe deep. And let's go ahead. You have no idea how happy I am right now. I'm thrilled too, brother. Like, I appreciate it. I don't ever get gifts because I tell people specifically not to send me gifts. But on the occasion that I do get a gift and it is thoughtful, it means a lot. Because occasionally one of you guys will send us a book or pick up something that we needed for work, or just at random. Like, the only people who get me gifts are my brother and the lady. And I like it that way. I don't like, I'm not a person who likes to get things. I like to give things. So, yeah, it's a beautiful gift. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. As long as they don't interrupt Harold's schedule, precisely. Like I'm going to listen. I know, it's set in your ways. But never too old to learn new tricks. That's the important part. Alright, boys and girls, let's get started. When we last left off, Arutha and his company were in the mountains, and they were in a fortress city, and they basically just found out that Mermandamus was getting ready to march on the city of Hadati, and the Hadati are essentially the Scottish tribe in this thing. Now it looks like we are back with Katala, who is Pug's wife. For those of you who don't remember that, Well, send one back from all of us, Teresa. Olivia sent everyone a hug and says, hey, Olivia is Teresa's niece. So we are going to be with Katala for some reason. This is odd. Because we haven't been with Katala yet at all of this book. I'm proud of my beard and how much Jericho product has made my beard look and feel good. What? Tim is wild. Yes, he is. Tim is a hell of a guy. All right. Well, I guess let's just see why we're here. We're back with Pug's wife, and they're back in Mid-Kemia. So maybe Pug and Tomas are going to be coming back, and then they're going to head up and help Arutha. I don't know. This is we've not seen from Katala's point of view at all this book, so I'm unfamiliar with beards as I do not have one. This is to be expected, Esther. It's to be expected. They can be a little bit of a hairy situation if you don't take care of them. And again, like my beard is normally very thick, but it's started to thin out on this side because I've had a little bit of a health issue that has caused it to thin out. It still does all right over here, but even on this side I have some spots where it's thinning a bit. And we know what's wrong, we're trying to address it, but it's a difficult health issue to address. But part of it has to do with the skin. I don't have a beard either. Someday, Aaron, someday. He's a real one to come here first, then the hospital. I do. Tim is one of the tavern patrons who's again been with us a long time. Met him through a mutual friend long ago, before the tavern doors even opened, and he always comes in and shares his life events with us, his important life events. I'm not sure that this counted as an important life event, but I'm sure that he saw we were live while it was on and came in to tell me, and I appreciate it. Hopefully his hand is okay. I look at beard stuff and I understand how Ken feels when I ask him to pick up things. Right. Aaron has curls. Curls are difficult to deal with. I bought Dan beard stuff. It went bad and he wouldn't use it. Beard care is difficult. Beard care is one of those things that most men are not equipped to do because we don't ever do that much to our face. Because taking care of a beard, like really taking care of a beard, is almost the same thing as like what a lot of women do with like their moisturizers and toners and things like that. It's almost the exact same thing, maybe a little bit less meticulous than that. But you have to wash it properly. You have to make sure you wash it back and forth, and then you have to make sure that you are brushing it properly. You have to make sure that you're putting in the oils, but not too much oil. You have to make sure that you put your balm in, but you can't put the balm and the oil in at the same time, and unless they're a certain type of balm and oil. So many things that you have to consider when taking care of a beard. Erin says I do body wash on my face and that's it. See, Erin, you've got. That's what we men do. It's body wash for everything. You put body wash for the body wash for the face, body wash for the hair. That's what most men do. Huh? Not Korean? Oh, well, not Korean, and that's why they look so young forever. Olivia just had her 9th birthday the day after Thanksgiving this year. Wow, that's wonderful. My little brother's birthday is just after Thanksgiving, or just before Thanksgiving. He's not 9 though. He's in his 30s. I use soap and that's it. Well, and again, like that's how most guys are. A beard, unless you are really, really healthy, beards you have to take care of. I use a natural face wash, and when I remember, but like 4 lotions after it, right? Desi says if I wash my face, I break out immediately. I'm going to lurk and maybe fall asleep. Thank you everyone for helping me deal with my shite. May your days be sunny and your burdens be light. Marina, I'm gonna do my best to read you off to sleep. I hope that whatever it is you're going through, you know that there is something on the other end. There's only so much about the world that you can control. So let go of the things that you can't, and accept the things that you can, and move forward under the pretense of doing your absolute best with the situation as it's been handed to you. There's nothing you can do to change the past. There's nothing that you can do to affect the future. All you can do is decide right now how and where you would like to be and what you can do with what you have. That's it. That's all you can do. And don't put more on your shoulders than that. There are a whole plethora of good and bad things that could happen, and absolutely none of them is in your control. You have to accept the world as it comes to you and act under the pretense of what you are able to do with it. And blaming yourself for outcomes when you have very little control over them is not going to be good for your mind or your heart. So know that whatever you do, it is the best that you can do. And I know that might not help, or it might help, I don't know. But also know that you're always welcome to come in and chat with me or with the lady or with anybody and happily talk you through it. Happily talk you through whatever's going on. There is a significant amount of work involved in maintaining a beard. Yes, there is. If you want to do it right, some people can just grow out a beard and have it do nothing. But if you want it to be a nice beard, if you want it to be a nice beard that is soft and that is... See, the lady spends a lot of time stroking my beard, so I don't want her to have to, like, get her fingers all sliced up by my coarse hair. You know. You guys. Alright, let's go ahead and begin. We are on chapter 11, Discovery. Gamina sat up, screaming. Now, Gamina is the little girl who can see into people's minds. Douglas says beards are work. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. It's almost a full-time job if you want to have a nice one. If you don't care about having a nice one, then it's no work at all, but... Bear says, this stuff will make your beard soft and lovely. It has done for me. The lady will thank you for it. We do a pretty good okay. We do a pretty alright. Pretty good okay, pretty good alright. Whatever I'm trying to say. We do it alright. But any enhancements are certainly welcome. Gamina is the little girl who, when she touches people, she can read their minds. So that is who just woke up. Gamina sat up, screaming. Within moments, Katala was in the child's room holding her. Gamina sobbed for a short while, then quieted, as a sleepy William came into her room, followed by a grumpy-looking fire drake. Fantis, that's the fire drake, padded past William and placed his head on the bed by Katala.
Was it a bad dream, baby?
Asked Katala. Gamina nodded. Softly, she said,
Yes, Mama.
She was finally learning to speak, not always relying upon the mental speech that had marked her as a special talent since birth. With her family dead, Gamina had been reared by Rogan, the blind seer. Before he brought her to the Stardock, Rogan had aided Pug in discovering that the enemy was behind all the troubles besetting the kingdom. though he had suffered injury in uncovering the secret. He and Gamina had stayed with Pug's family while he recovered, and over the last year had come to be members. Rogan had been as a grandfather to William, while Gamina, Katala, was a mother and William a brother. The old man had died peacefully in his sleep 3 months before, but at last he had been happy his ward had found others beside himself, whom she could love and trust. Katala hugged and caressed the child while she calmed down. Meacham, the tall Franklin, hurried into the room looking for the source of danger. He had returned from Kelawon with Hochopeppa and Elgahar of the assembly shortly after Pug had departed in search of the Watchers. Their other companion, Brother Dominic, had returned to the Ashapian Abbey at Sarth. Meacham had taken it upon himself to act as protector of Pug's family while the magician was upon Kelawon. For all his fierce appearances and stoic demeanor, he was one of Gamina's favorites. She called him Uncle Meacham. He stood behind Katala, smiling one of his very rare smiles at the tiny girl. Hochopeppa and Kogan entered the room, the two magicians from different worlds, alike in so many ways. Both came and fussed over the girl while Katala said,
Still up working?
Hochopeppa said, Certainly, it's still early. He looked up. Isn't it? Meacham said, No, unless you mean early in the morning. It's an hour past midnight. Kogan said, Well, we were involved in some interesting discourse and...
You lost track of time.
Katala said. Her tone was slightly disapproving and slightly amused. Pug was title holder to the property of Stardog, and since he had left, she had assumed control of the community. Her calm nature, intelligence, and ability to deal with people tactfully had made her the natural leader of the diverse community of magic users and their families. Though occasionally Hochopeppa was overheard calling her that tyrannical woman, no one minded, for they knew he spoke with respect and affection. Kogan said, We were discussing some report sent from Simone at the assembly. By agreement, the rift between the worlds was left open for brief periods on regular schedule so messages could be exchanged between the Academy at Stardock and the Assembly of Magicians on Kelawon. Katala looked up expectantly, but Hochopeppa said, Still no word of Pug. Katala sighed and, suddenly irritated, said,
Hocho, Kogan, you may do as you like in your research, but poor Elhagar seems almost ready to drop. He does almost all the training for the new Greater Path magicians, and he never complains. You should bend some of your efforts to helping him.
Kogan took his pipe and said, We stand properly corrected. He and Hochopeppa exchanged glances. Both knew Katala's brusque manner was born from frustration over her husband absent a year. Hochopeppa said, Indeed. He also unlimbered a pipe, a habit acquired in his years of working beside Kogan. As Meacham had once observed, the two magicians were peas in a pod. Katala said,
And if you intend to light those foul-smelling things, take them and yourselves out of here. This is Gamina's bedchamber, and I'll not have her room reeking of smoke.
Kogan was on the verge of lighting his and halted. Very well. How is the child? Gamina had ceased her crying and spoke softly.
I'm all right.
Since she had learned to speak, her voice had never been raised above a soft, childish whisper, save her scream a few moments before.
I had a bad dream. What sort of dream?
asked Katala. Gamina's eyes began to brim with tears.
I heard Papa calling me.
Colgan and Hotepepper both looked down at the girl intently. What did he say, child? Asked Colgan softly, so as not to frighten the girl. Katala went ashen, but showed no sign of fear. She was born of a line of warriors, and she could face anything. Save this not knowing how her husband fared. Gently she said,
What did he say, Gamina? He was...
as she did when under stress, she changed to blind speech.
He was in a strange place far away. He was with somebody's else. He said...
What, child? Said Hotepepper.
He said... We must wait for a message. Then something changed. He was gone, in an empty place. I became frightened. I felt alone.
Katala held the girl closely. She controlled her voice. But she felt fear as she said,
You're not alone, Gamina.
But inwardly Katala echoed the girl's thoughts. Even when Pug had been taken from her by the assembly to become a great one, she had not felt this alone. Pug closed his eyes. Oh, we're with Pug now. All right, well, that explains why we were there. It was a preamble. Pug closed his eyes in fatigue. He let his shoulders fall forward until it rested upon Thomas's shoulder. Thomas looked back.
Did you get through?
With a heavy sigh, Pug said, Yes.
But it was more difficult than I had thought, and I frightened the child. Still, you got through. You can do it again. I think so. The girl's mind is unique, and should be easier to reach next time. I know more about how this process works. Before I only had the theory, and now I've done it. Good. We may need that skill.
They were speeding through the greyness they had come to call rift space. That place between the very strands of time and the physical universe. Pug had instructed Riath to go there the moment Pug had signaled the end of his contact with those at Stardog. Now the dragon sent a mind message.
Where dost thou wish, Valharu?
Tomas spoke aloud.
To the city forever.
Riath seemed to shudder as she took control of the nothingness around her and bent it to her needs and travel. The featureless grey about them pulsed, and somehow they changed directions within this boundless dimension, this no place. Then the fabric of grey about them ripped once more, and they were somewhere else. An odd spot appeared before them in the grey, the first hint of any reality within the space rift. The rift space. It grew as rapidly as if Riath were speeding through some physical plane. Then they were above it. It was a city, a place of terrible and alien beauty. It possessed towers of twisted symmetry, minarets impossibly slender, oddly designed buildings that sprawled below the vaulting arches. Between the towers, fountains of complex fashion spewed forth drops of liquid silver that turned into crystals, filling the air with tinkling music as they shattered upon the tiles of the fountain, becoming liquid again and running into the drains. The dragon bent and sped downwards, flying above the center of a magnificent boulevard, nearly 100 yards wide. The entire street was tiled, and the tiles glowed with soft hues, each subtly different from the next, so that over a distance it appeared a gradually changing rainbow. And as the dragon's shadow passed over, the tiles blinked and glowed, then shifted color. and music filled the air, a theme of majestic beauty bringing a stab of longing for green fields beside sparkling brooks, while the soft pastel sunsets colored magnificent mountains. The images were nearly overwhelming, and Pug shook his head to clear it, putting aside a soft sadness that such a wonderful place could never be found. They flew under heroic arches 1,000 feet above their heads, and tiny flower petals of sparkling white and gold, glowing rose and vermilion, pastels green and blue fell about them. A softly caressing rain scented of wildflowers as they made for the heart of the city. But who built this, I wonder? Asked Pog. No one knows, said Tomas. Some unknown race. Perhaps the dead gods. Pug studied the city as they flew over it. Or perhaps no one built it. How could that be? Asked Pog. In an infinite universe, there are things that are not only possible, but, no matter how improbable, certain to exist somewhere in some time. It may be that this city sprang into existence at the very moment of creation. The Vaheru first found it ages ago, exactly as you see it. It is one of the greatest mysteries in the many universes the Vaheru have travelled to. No one lived here, or we Vaheru never found them. Some have come here to abide a while, but none stayed long. This place is never changing, for it stands where there is no true time. It is said the city forever may be the only truly immortal thing in the universe. With a sad and rueful note, he said, a few of Valharu attempted to destroy it at a peak. It may also be the only thing impervious to their rage. There was then a flicker of motion arrested Pug's attention, and suddenly a swarm of creatures leapt from atop a distant building, took wing, and banked in their direction. He pointed toward them, and Tomas said, "It seems we are expected." The creatures came speeding at them, larger red versions of the elemental beings that Pug had destroyed on the shores of the Great Star Lake the year before. They were man-shaped, and their large crimson bat wings beat the wind as they sped towards the two dragon riders. Calmly, Pug said, "Shall we land? This is but the first test. It will amount to little." Riath screamed a battle clarion, and the demon host recoiled, then dove at them. On the first pass, Tomas's golden blade arched outwards to the two creatures, and they fell in screaming agony to the stones below as this sword severed bat-like wings. Pug cast blue energies which danced from creature to creature, causing them to contort in pain as they fell, unable to fly. As each struck the ground, it vanished in green flames and silver sparks. Riath unleashed a blast of fire, and all those within blast were withered to ash. In moments, the creatures were gone. Now the dragon turned and flew toward a sinister building of black stone, squatting like some brooding malignancy. In the midst of beauty, Tomas said, "Someone makes it painfully obvious where we must hide to. It'll clearly be a trap." Pug said, "Well, we need to protect Riath." The dragon snorted, but Tomas said, "Only against the most powerful magics. And should that come to pass, we shall be dead, and she may flee back to the real universe. Do you hear?"
"I hear and understand,"
answered the dragon. They swooped down over a brick courtyard, and the dragon circled. Tomas used his powers to lift himself and Pug from Riath's back and lower them to the stones. "Return to the fountains and rest. The water is sweet, and the surroundings soothing. Should anything go amiss, depart as you will. If we need you, here or upon Midkemia, you'll hear my call."
"I will answer, Tomas."
The dragon departed, and Tomas turned to Pug. Come. We should find an interesting reception ahead. Pug looked at his boyhood friend. Even as a child, your view of the interesting was somewhat broader than mine. Still, there's no choice. Will we find Macros within? Probably not. But this is where we've been brought. I doubt the enemy would make it easy for us. They entered the only door to the vast black building, and the moment they were both beyond the portal, a vast stone door descended, blocking their retreat. Tomas looked back with amusement. So much for an easy retreat. Pug measured the stone. I can deal with this, if needs be. But it will take a while. Tomas nodded. I thought as much. Let's go on. They moved down a long corridor, and Pug created a light, which glowed brightly in a circle about them. The walls were without feature, smooth and unmarked, leading only in one direction. The floor seemed fashioned of the same material. The end of the corridor produced a single door without markings or means to open. Pug studied it and invoked a spell. With a grinding note of protest, the door rose upward, permitting them to pass. They entered a vast hall with doors in a circle. As they entered, those doors flew open and a horde of creatures came tumbling out, snarling and screeching. Apes with heads of eagles, giant cats with turtle shells, serpents with arms and legs, men with extra arms, an army of horrors came pouring forth. Tomas drew his sword and raised his shield and shouted, "Make ready, Pug!" Pug incanted, and a ring of crimson flames exploded upward, were all about them, engulfing the first rank of creatures, who exploded in searing hot silver flashes. Many of the creatures held back, but those that could leap or fly, clearing the flames to meet the destruction from Thomas's golden sword. As he struck them, they vanished in a shower of glowing silver sparks, accompanied by a stench of rotting decay. The creatures continued, with more and more coming from the doors. As they pressed forward, those before them were pushed into Pug's mythic flames and exploded in a brilliance for an instant before vanishing. Pug said, "There seems to be no end to them." Tomas nodded as he cut down a giant rat with an eagle's wings. "Can you close the portals?" Pug worked magic, and a loud wail of grinding metal filled the chamber as the doors to the hall were closed with force. Creatures seeking to push through were crushed between the door and the wall, dying with loud, piteous cries, shrieks, and hootings. Tomas dispatched all the monsters that had cleared the flames, and for a moment he and Pug stood alone within the circle of fire. Tomas panted slightly. "This is irritating," Pug said. "I can finish this." The burning circle began to expand outwards, and each creature it touched died. Soon it pressed to the very walls of the hall, and as the last creature died in an explosion and shriek, the flames winked out of existence. Pug looked about. Each door holds dozens of beasts behind. Which way do you think? Tomas said, "I think down." Pug reached out, and Tomas slung his shield over his back. He took Pug's hand while still gripping his sword. Another incantation was mouthed, and Tomas saw his friend becoming transparent. He looked down and saw that he could view the floor through his own body. Pug spoke and sounded distant. "Do not release my hand until I say, or it will be difficult to get you back." Then Tomas saw the floor rise, or rather they were sinking. Darkness engulfed them as they passed down into the rock. After a long time it was light again, and they entered another chamber. Bless you, my love. Something sped through the air, and Tomas felt pain erupt in his side. He looked down and saw a warrior standing below. a thing of powerful shoulders with a boar's head, wearing gaudy blue plate, armor on back and chest. The creature bellowed, spittle dripping from its long tusks, as he swung a wicked-looking double axe at Tomas, who barely managed to turn it with his own blade. Pug shouted, "Let go!" Tomas released Pug's hand and instantly was solid again. He fell to the floor, landing lightly before the man-boar, as the creature brought axe crashing down upon Tomas's, parried again and retreated, seeking to free his shield. Pug landed upon his feet and began incanting a spell. The boar thing moved rapidly for something so large, and Tomas could only just defend. Then the Valheru countered the blow with a parry and thrust the thing was wounded. It backed away, bellowing in anger. Pug sent forth a slowly expanding rope of pulsing smoke, which moved like a snake. It traveled only a few feet. In the first several seconds, but began picking up speed. Then, like a striking cobra, the smoke lashed out and hit the boar thing in the legs. Instantly the smoke became solid, encasing the creature in boots was heavy as rock. The thing billowed in rage as it tried to move. With no ability to retreat, the man-boar was quickly dispatched by Tomas cleaning off his blade. Thank you for the help. It was annoying me. Alright, we're going to pause there for a second, friends. We got ads popping up over on Twitch, and we don't want our Twitch friends to be left behind. They will last for a second, and then we will be back. RP Max, you said, "Hello, I am Sri Lankan." Oh, very good to see you, my friend. Welcome in. Rich says, "My roomie left me dinner in the mic. Didn't eat the Brussels sprouts." How are we faring tonight, friends? Let's see, how much longer do we have in this chapter? This chapter is... Ooh, this chapter is quite long. We got quite a way. We still have 12 pages left. We still have quite a ways to go. So, I don't remember from the last chapter, or the last time that we were with Pug and Tomas. You never get out. Well, you might have Turbo, Rich. If you have Turbo or if you're subscribed to the individual, you won't get the ads. So that's the way to avoid them if you don't like ads. I don't have any choice but to run them, because if we don't run them, then Twitch will run pre-rolls, and sometimes those can be up to 20 or 30 minutes long. But if you have Twitch Turbo or you're subscribed to the individual channel, then you won't have to worry about ads. It is my I have two grievances with Twitch. One, it's impossible for people to find you on Twitch. But the second is that they force us to run ads if we are. Well, enjoy your Wraith Wisps there. Frost, thank you for the resub, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you kindly. 11 months, what a bleeding legend. Thank you kindly, my friend. But enjoy your Wraith's Wisps meringues. I'm not a huge fan of meringues. Do you guys like meringues? Oh, I guess subbing for months, my first day paid off. But there you go. Yeah, you'll never have to worry about the ads as long as you're subscribed. But we get these little breaks where we get to waffle for a bit because Twitch makes us run ads. So it's not all that bad, I suppose. Yeah, I do not like the ads at all. I will say that you guys have been putting in the work to, because for any, I don't, we haven't brought this up in a little bit. There are a couple of community things that we are doing that might end in me dressing as Santa. I have an announcement. I have my physical assessment tomorrow for technician training. Hell yeah, Tyson. You gotta tell us how it is on Thursday. You gotta tell us how you did. That's the rule. What is the title of the book? I would like to catch up. So, and if you would like to, Douglas, you can actually go over to the Tavern YouTube portal, and all of the previous read-throughs are all there. So if you want to just go through and listen to them rather than having to read, you can just go and listen to them, and you'll have all of them. Tonight was the first time I found your show. Well, very good. We do story times with me on Tuesday and Thursday. I assume you watch the recorded story times then, like you watch the lore and myth videos, I presume then. But yeah, if you go over to the YouTube portal, you can watch all of the backlog of these and catch up with us. But it's called A Darkness at Sethanon. It should be in the title wherever you're at. But it's A Darkness at Sethanon, and it's by Raymond E. Feist. It is the 4th book in the Magician series. You don't necessarily have to read them in order to know what's going on. But you can most definitely go back and look them over if you wanna catch up. Because we've actually read through the whole series up to this point. These were the last 4 books, but we do this on Tuesday and Thursday, and then the Lady of the Tavern, she does a reading on Sundays. So the other day, ran into a guy that takes current hits and makes it a shanty. My favorite was Dirty Deeds. I don't know if it's the same guy, but I've seen a gentleman who does that on TikTok. And it is really fascinating. It is really fascinating to watch. Just recently found you know, well, very good. I don't know if I've been properly introduced, but we've had a couple of other folks who are fresh in. But I am Castle, this is my tavern, and here we talk about myth and lore and tales of yore, and every now and again, I read you all a story. Which is what happens on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I read you all a story. But definitely keep everyone updated. The tavern has actually helped a lot with all these stressful studying and trainings. Good, Tyson. I'm glad, brother. I appreciate you bringing us along for your victories. Yeah, there are a couple of guys who do, like, they will take modern songs and turn them into shanties. But yeah, if you go back to the live streams, you can actually listen through the whole book up to this point if you don't want to read it, Douglas. But if you do want to read it, it's Darkness at Sethanon. You can get it pretty cheap. This is brand new. This was brand new on Amazon, I think, for $11 in the paperback. And you can get it pretty cheap through secondhand bookshops as well. They're fairly well in. But yeah, here we talk about myth and lore and tales of yore. Again, this is our tavern. It is a tavern at the end of all worlds, where all stories eventually come to rest. Gunnar, hello, my friend. Sorry I'm late. Nah, don't apologize. You made it in. That's what's important. And yeah, and Douglas, if you do join us over on the YouTube portal, there are some longer lore and storytelling videos over there. A lot of people tend to think that we're a mythology specific, but the tavern is storytelling. We talk about all kinds of storytelling. That's books, that's history, that's mythology, poetry, philosophy, all of those things. All of the things from above. And we're a space station housing the chatterbox orbits, exactly. Bear says, I have a couple of t-shirts that read myth and lore and tales of yore. I actually have one on right now, as a matter of fact. It's my undershirt says it's green, so it's probably gonna blank out. But yeah, there it is. See, it's the tavern sign. This is myth and lore and tales of yore. There you go. Yeah, I don't mind reading a good book every now and again. Well, do I have a book for you then? I'm just kidding. We were talking about this earlier, but I just got this really beautiful soft copy of the Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis. And this is one of the most brilliantly written things I've ever read. And I've read I don't know, a lot. I'm not going to give a number. I've read a lot of books. The lady and I, between the two of us, we have over 400 books just in the house. And between both of our digital book stores and audiobooks, it's the books just that we own is well into the high hundreds of books. Yeah, we're the first bunch. We do tend to be, yeah. But this was a really beautiful. I got this for $6 on sale on Amazon. It's a brilliant deal. But it looks like it's got the uneven pages, so it looks like different sized letter paper that was stuffed into a book. And it's got this really nice, like you can hear, it's got this textured soft cover on it. And I don't know what these are called, but I like when these books have these flaps where you can mark the page with them. I like those. So it's just a really beautiful copy of the Screw Tape Letters. If you've never read this, it's a brilliant look at like the human condition. And I just got that. I was gushing about it earlier, so I figured I'd show you since you like a good. I still want a hoodie. Do you guys want us to do a Christmas sale on Tavern Gear? I can do a Christmas sale on Tavern Gear if you guys like. See what the lady can manage. Can we do a Christmas sale on Tavern Gear?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do a Christmas sale on Tavern Gear if you guys want to pick up stuff for Christmas. Yeah, I love C.S. Lewis too. And I don't know if you've ever read the Screw Tape Letters, Douglas, but I would argue that this is better than Narnia. Like, it's satire, and it is the best thing that he wrote, in my opinion. One of the best things. It's in the top 5 things that he ever wrote. But for me, it's well near the top. Quality-wise and just the brilliance of it, the Screw Tape Letters is amazing. Can it be a New Year's sale? I can have it go till New Year's. Why don't we do this? The lady and I are going to be out of town. Probably, I think, starting the 14th. So why don't we do? We'll do a sale that'll start on the 14th, and we'll have it end on. Well, no. How about this? We'll start on the 7th. We'll have it end on the 7th. Yeah, Douglas is amazing. So. I don't know. I'm going to get back to reading because we're in the middle of the chapter. We still have 12 pages to go, so it's going to be a bit. Yeah, so that's what we'll do. We'll start the sale on Tavern Gear on the 7th. And that way, guys, if anybody wants to get something for Christmas, they can. And then we'll have it stretch into the 7th of January. Bear says he's still waiting on his Viking Raspberries t-shirt.
I just so cheesy, but I can make it.
So
5 people that want that shirt.
there will be. We'll do a sale on Tavern Gear for Christmas. C.S. Lewis was a stark and very outspoken atheist for a good portion of his early life. And one of the things, we were talking about this earlier, if you want to read something that is like a brilliant analysis of the human condition, read the letters back and forth between J.R.R. Tolkien and C.S. Lewis. Because C.S. Lewis was a staunch, he was an absolutely heavily outspoken atheist. And J.R.R. Tolkien was one of the most committed and outspoken Catholics probably to ever live. He was a very, very devout Christian. And Mila says, Una, can I message you to figure out shipping because it's out of country? And another question. I don't think we have problems shipping to Canada.
No,
but
I think the US ones are fine.
But yeah, you can message Una. Milo, you can message her. She'll reach out to you.
I have Canadian printer.
Yeah, the title of the book is The Screw Tape Letters. This book is the culmination of all of the conversations between Tolkien and Lewis as Lewis was converting to Christianity. Because Lewis hated God. He hated everything that had to do with Christianity. And even if you're not religious, even if you don't care about Christianity or anything like that, this is the letters between Lewis and Tolkien were beautiful analyses and observations of the human condition and the human spirit. And this is what Lewis came to both professors and Tolkien's inspiration for Treebeard. Yeah, yes. And in actually I've not owned a copy of this in some time, but the preface of this is actually a letter that Lewis wrote to Tolkien in 1941. So most of this was also written. I don't know for sure that this is true, but I believe that most of this was also written during World War II. So the fact that it is this brilliant bit of satire focused on the human condition it's so good. Again, even if you're not a Christian, even if you don't care about religion or anything like that, it has nothing to do with religion, and it has everything to do with looking at the human spirit. It's really, really good. I cannot recommend it enough. I think it's one of the best things that Lewis ever wrote. Okay. All right. Bear says with the Captain Hoodie design on it. A Viking dragon blowing raspberries would be very funny. I don't know how we would get that all on a show, but it would be very funny. Well, that's why I actually brought the reason why I was gushing about it, Douglas, is because I found this copy I just bought, and it's this beautiful soft touch, and it's got these absolutely lovely uneven pages on it, like they're letters stuffed into it. And this is on sale. I think it still is. This is on sale on Amazon right now for $6, and it's beautiful. Who's raspberries? Okay, that was dumb. Or stickers. Stickers would probably work better than the other things. I feel so gaslit right now. By what, Bears? I have to be careful because we have bear and then we have bears. All right, let's get back into story time, friends. We're gonna back into the reading. Yeah, if you search Screwtape Letters over on Amazon, you should be. Oh, because we have Bear over on Twitch and Facebook. But then Bears is Bears on TikTok. We are reading A Darkness at Sethanon by Raymond E. Feist. Tonight is Feist. Thursday we'll be back on Harry Potter Book 7. Matthew! Thank you for the follow over on Twitch. You've marked the tavern on your map. You should be able to find your way back again the next time you seek a story. Yo, yo, yo. How's it going? Are you coming in from somewhere else? Or are you coming in from a browse page? Feist Night, let's go! Feist Night is funny. Feist Night is very good. YouTube has it voiced by John Cleese. The Screwtape Letters? That's interesting. I didn't know that. Where are you coming in from, Matthews? Just call you Math, because it's probably not the best to say. Excellent. If you want to message me on Facebook, Douglas, I can send you the link that I got. Why do I keep getting people popping in over on YouTube saying Sri Lanka? What? Yeah, I've had now 3 different people pop in and say Sri Lanka, or I am Sri Lankan. I have no idea. It's 3 different people, but they've all popped in and said I am Sri Lankan. That's the weirdest spam I've ever gotten. Quebec pretty. Oh no, I meant what platform are you coming in from? Are you coming in from the browse page on Twitch, or did you find the tavern through somewhere else and you're coming over just because it's all Storytime was on? Yeah, Douglas, go ahead and shoot me a message on Facebook, and I can send you the link to the one that I got. Yeah, I don't know. It's odd. There are a bunch of people who keep coming in over on YouTube saying that they're Sri Lankan. It's interesting. Odd. I just finished a book and went on reading Tag to see what people are up to. Oh, well, very good. Well, welcome in. I am Castle, this is my tavern, and here we talk about myth and lore and tales of yore, and every now and again I read you all a story. Tonight we are reading A Darkness at Sethanon by Raymond D. Feist. On Thursday we'll be back in with a little bit of Harry Potter, and in general, if you enjoy storytelling, myth and lore and history and things like that, you can find us pretty much anywhere all about. To see what people are up to, LOL at math. Okay, the Traddies have finished installing the new hot water heater. That said, I have my mate Mad Mick here now, and we're listening while we get some yard work done. That's alright, Bear, do what you gotta do. And again, what we always say to Bear when he's doing anything, don't overdo it. I do read aloud, and actually I fully voice all the characters. Not gonna say it's any good, but I fully voice all the characters. It would be perfect to practice English. Absolutely. Mel, hello and welcome in. It's good to see you. Welcome back. Yeah, I'm about to pick up again. I do tend to go off on waffling here a bit. Every time you say, I think you're calling Matthew, it's intergalactically life trying to communicate with. Yeah, it's true. But I'm a Jays fan. Even missed the tavern during the World Series. Oh, you did? Okay, I see what you're saying, Rich. The magic word has been spoken. The waffles appear. They don't speak English. All they can say is Sri Lankan. Oh, the intergalactic. I see what you're saying, Ashley. Yeah, I don't know. We get some weird spam. Like, I get some weird comments and spam from people. Like, I'll get really weird, just random people who get upset at me for no reason. Well, I'm sure they have a reason, it's just not a very good one. Who are you to decide if it's a good reason? I am always right. That is who I am. Alright, let's go ahead and begin. Kelly, hello, welcome and thank you for the roses, I appreciate that. Milu, I used to work for Chrysler. Send me a message with whatever your problem you're having. I might be able to help. Obviously I'm not gonna be able to do it on Storytime, but let me know. I have a follower who is insisting on editing my story. Yeah, that's funny. I'm not helping that one. Car guy is a good one to ask here in the. Yeah, Santana could also help. Oh, maybe you're Ashley. Are you a part of the Sri Lankans who are joining over on Spurlunken? Oh, okay, I see. You guys are ridiculous. All right, let's get back to stories. All right, when we last left off, Tomas and Pog were fighting the monstrosities of Mermandamus under their. How would you recap the story in 10 words to catch me up? Okay, so this is the 4th book in the series. 10 words isn't going to be enough, but I'll be very fast. We follow a series of different people. The people who we are with in this book are Arutha, who is the prince of a duke who became the prince of a country. And him and his brother are now the prince and king of the largest kingdom in a realm called Midkemia. They're also known as the Kingdom of the Isles. Now, there is another world called Kelawon. Kelawon is basically like a Mesopotamian, Japanese, Chinese culture hybrid with a little bit of Egyptian influence. And they have no metal on their world, so metal is very highly valuable. Pug and Tomas, who we are with right now, were boys who grew up in the court of the Duke, who the prince and king were the sons of. Stay with me, I know it's going to get a little bit confusing. Pug became a magician. Tomas ended up lost in a mine where he found the armor of a dragon lord, what is called a Valheru. He put it on, and the spirit of the Valheru possessed him, and he became part Valheru. So he is part Dragon Lord, Dragon Rider. Pug got kidnapped, went to the other world, and now he is a magician who has the power of two worlds because he was trained as a magician in both worlds. Arutha is again, he's the prince of Krondor, which is the princely realm of Midkemia. And there is a prophecy that says that once he is killed, the enemy, who is this great outer god, who was the bad guy in the last book, which is called Silverthorn. The bad guy is called Myrmandamus, and he has been the enemy of the last two books, and he's trying to kill Arutha, because it's been said that if Arutha dies, the enemy can take over. Pug and Tomas are now fighting through in another world, this random world, because the Dragon Riders can planeswalk. It's a strange thing. They're fighting through trying to find Myrmandamus and trying to find another magician who's called Macros the Black. Macros the Black is, as far as anybody knows, the greatest magic caster to ever exist ever in all of time and history. And so where we are right now, Pug and Tomas have been trying to find Macros because he died closing a portal between Kelawon and Midkemia in the second book. But we found out he's alive, or at least we think he's alive, and now Pug and Tomas are trying to find him to help fight Myrmandamus. And that's where we are. I hope I didn't lose you. Ashley Cornish, hello over on Facebook. It's good to see you. I couldn't remember if he said Sri Lankan or Sri Lankan. No, I had said Sri Lankan. Yeah, Sri Lankan. Got the first half. Did I lose you at some point? Bottom line, there are a bunch of people involved trying to fight this guy, Myrmandamus, and we are with the magician and the Dragon Rider, who are now on another world trying to find another magician to help get through it. That's where we're at. I'm getting over the norovirus. I think it affected my brain. It very well could. It very well could. Sri Lankan. Am I saying Sri Lankan? Sri Lankan. Sri Lankan, like from Sri Lanka. Am I saying it weird? Am I saying it wrong? I'm pretty sure that's how it's said. It's Sri Lankan, right? Sri Lanka? Sri Lankan, yeah. Alright. Are you guys messing with me? Are you guys messing with me? Alright, let's get back into it. Gunnar says, you had me up until 10 words won't be enough, but I'll be quick. I certainly can. I do audiobooks and voice work for people. Just not very often. I'm very selective about who the lady, because we have so much that we're already doing and we voice all of our own books. So I'm very selective about the clients we take for doing voice work. Because if there are projects where people want me to voice a character in a cartoon or something else, I'll do that. And also I do audiobook work as well, but I'm very, very selective about what I do. But yeah, you can reach out to me, Teresa, and we'll talk about it. Want me to mess with you? I mean, if you would like, Matty, do you guys care what I want? You guys do these things all the time. Hermione has two pronunciations, Hermione or Hermione. Well, yeah, I mean, if you're from like North England, it's Hermione, but if you're saying it phonetically, it's Hermione. I've always said it Hermione. Hermione? I don't know. Hermione. A lot of syllables in there. Okay, let's get back to the book. This whole day I've been hearing things wrong. I'm starting to get worried. This has been the whole universe is off today. The air is too thick at the moment. Okay, let's continue. Where was I? They were just fighting a bunch of monstrosities in this black fortress, this black stone fortress. And Tomas had just killed a creature with a boar head, a man boar. And he said he thanked Pog for the help. So let's continue from there. I have all these books in storage. Now I want to go fish them out and reread them. I mean, I'd probably never would have read these if it hadn't been for stream letting me, for you guys voting on them. And they are just absolutely spectacular stories. They're very, very good. That's smart, Destiny. That's smart, because the lady has a bunch of books that are mold damaged because they got left out there. Alright, let's continue. Pug smiled, seeing that his boyhood friend still hadn't changed in some ways. He knew Tomas would have dispatched the creature eventually, but there was no point in wasting time. Tomas winced as he examined his side. That axe had some unexpected mystic power to strike while we were insubstantial. Rare, but not unheard of, agreed Pug. Tomas closed his eyes, and Pug saw the wound begin to heal. First, blood ceased flowing, and then the skin gathered itself together. A puckered red scar showed, and that began to fade, until unbroken skin was shown. Soon, even the gold chain and white tabard were mended. Pug was impressed. He glanced about, feeling discomforted. This seems too easy. For all the fury and noise, these traps are pitiful. Tomas patted his side. Not all that pitiful, but in general, I agree. I think we are supposed to become overbold and fall prey to inoculation or incaution. Then let us be wary. Now, where next? Pug looked about. The chamber was carved from stone, without any apparent purpose except to provide a meeting place for several tunnels. Where they led was unknown. Pug sat upon a large rock. I will send out my sight. He closed his eyes, and another of the strange whiter spheres appeared above his head, spinning rapidly, and then suddenly it was off down one of the tunnels. In a few moments it was back, and then down another. After almost an hour, Pug recalled the device, and with a wave of his hands it vanished. He opened his eyes. The tunnels all lead back upon themselves and empty out here. This is an isolated place. Pug got to his feet. A labyrinth. A trap for us, no more. Again, we must go down. They gripped hands once more, and Pug allowed them to pass through the solid rock. For what seemed a very long time, they moved downward in darkness. Then they were floating just below the roof of a vast cavern. Below, and some distance away, a huge lake was surrounded on all sides by a ring of fire, which lit the cavern in a red-orange glow. Beyond the fire, a boat rocked at the edge of the shore, a clear invitation. In the center of the lake, they could see an island, upon the shores of which a host of human-shaped beings waited, all in battle dress. They surrounded a single tower, but one door on the ground floor and a single window at the top. Pug lowered them to the ground and made them solid again. Tomas looked at the burning circle and said, I expect we're supposed to battle through the fire, take the boat and evade whatever lurks below the water, then defeat all those warriors just to reach the tower. It looks like that's what we're supposed to do. said Pug, sounding tired. He walked to the edge of the fire and said, "But I think not." He waved his hand in a circular motion and then repeated the gesture a second time. The air began to stir in the cavern. Following the circle described by Pug's hand, moving along the curve of the vast stone dome above their heads. At first it was a simple gust, a breeze with some life. Then quickly, a zephyr. Again Pug motioned. Rapidly the wind picked up tempo and the flames began to dance, illuminating the cavern in mad lights and flickering shadows. Another gesture from Pug, and the wind blew faster and harsher until the fire was being blown backwards. Tomas watched, able to stand against the pressure of the air without difficulty. The blaze began to sputter and lapse, as if it could not keep burning before the press of wind. Pug made a larger and broader circular motion with his arm, almost spinning himself about with the furious gesture. The water foamed as whitecaps appeared beyond the lake. Wind-whipped water blew high into the air as Spindrift leapt in capering dance and the water ran up the shores of the island. Swelling waves rolled and soon the boat was overturned and sank below the surface. The fire hissing into the surf as it swept over the banks. Pug shouted a word, and a clear white light illuminated the cavern in place of the red fire glow. Now Pug spun his arm about like a child playing a game, imitating a gale-driven windmill. Within minutes, the warriors upon the island were staggering backwards under the force of the wind, unable to keep their footing. One's boot touched the water, and something green and leathery rose and seized the warrior's leg. The screaming fighter was dragged below the water. Again and again the scene was repeated as more and more of the warriors were forced into the water to be taken by the denizen of the lake. Then the windstorm reached a crescendo of fury, shrieking in their ears. Pug and Tomas saw the last figure upon the island stagger backwards into the water, to be seized by whatever lay below the frothy surface of the lake. With a clap of his hands, Pug halted the wind and said, "Come." Tomas used his ability to fly them over the water surface to the door of the tower. They pushed it open and entered. Pug and Tomas spent a full 5 minutes discussing what they were likely to discover at the top of the tower. The stairway leading upwards was narrow enough that it could be climbed only single file as it wound along the inside of the wall of the tower. At last, Pug said, "Well, we're as ready as we're ever likely to be. There's nothing to do but go up." He followed his friend as the white and gold-clad warrior mounted the steps. Near the top, Pug glanced down and discovered it a fair fall to the stones below. As Tomas reached the trap door at the top, Tomas pushed open the door and vanished upward through the opening. Pug followed. There was a single room atop the tower, a simple setting of a bed, a chair, and a window. Sitting on the chair was a man, wearing a brown robe cinched at the waist by a whipcord belt. He sat reading a book, which he closed, and Pug joined Tomas slowly, and he smiled. Pug said, "Macros," Tomas said, "we've come to take you back." The sorcerer stood weakly, as if injured or tired. He faltered as he stepped towards the pair. He staggered. Pug moved forward to catch him, but Tomas was faster. He got his arm about Macros's waist. Then the sorcerer bellowed an alien sound, as if it was a roar were being heard through a distant windstorm. His arm contracted, gripping Tomas in a rib-shattering hug as the trapdoor slammed shut. For a moment, Tomas threw his head back and screamed in agony. Then Macross threw him with a stunning force against the wall. Pug froze an instant and began to mouth an incantation, but the sorcerer was too quick in moving toward him. The brown-clad figure reached him, picked Pug up with ease, and threw him against the opposite wall. Pug hit with a bone-jarring impact, his head striking the stone, and he fell hard on the floor. He slumped down, obviously dazed. Tomas was up, his sword was drawn, then Macross spun. Then in an instant the sorcerer was gone, and a creature of nightmarish aspect stood poised for attack. In outline only was it seen, 7 feet high, and easily enticed Tomas's weight. With large feathered wings extending outward, as it moved a vague hint of horns upon its head, and large upswept ears could be seen. A featureless charcoal mask regarded the Valheru with ruby glowing eyes, fully cloaked in smoky darkness. It had only been red-orange glow showing through its eyes and mouth, as if revealing some inner fire. Otherwise, it was a thing of ebon shadow, each detail of face and form only a suggestion. Tomas struck outwards with his sword, and the blade passed through the creature without an apparent harm. Tomas retreated as the creature advanced.
"Puny thing,"
came a whispering voice, a distant echo upon the mocking breeze.
"did you think that which opposes you did not prepare fully for your destruction?"
Tomas crouched, sword at the ready. Narrowed eyes under the golden helm regarded the thing as he said, "What manner of creature are you?" The whispering voice said,
"Warrior, child of the void, brother to the Wraith Inspector, I am a master of the dread."
With startling quickness, it reached out and seized Tomas's shield, crushing it with a single twist and ripping it away from him. Tomas swung in answer, but it reached up and gripped his sword arm at the wrist. Tomas howled in pain.
"I am summoned here to end your existence,"
said the shadowy thing. Then, with ease, it yanked and tore Thomas's arm from its shoulder. With a shower of blood, Tomas fell to the stones, screaming in agony. The thing said,
"Disappointed. I was warned that you were to be feared, but you are as nothing."
Tomas's face was white and drenched in perspiration, his eyes wide with pain and terror. "Who?" he gasped. "Who warned you?"
"Those who know your nature, man-thing."
The dread stood holding Tomas's arm and sword.
"They even understood how you would come here, rather than seek the sorcerer's true prison."
Hang on a second. The music is strange. Not exactly fitting for, Good night, Erin. Rest well. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I hope you rise tomorrow ready to face the day. And the music got very strange there for a second. I apologize. Yeah, to be fair, completely at random. Not a bit my choice. Where is he? Gasped Tomas, seeming on the verge of fainting. With a whisper, the evil thing said,
"You have failed."
Evidently near collapse, Tomas forced himself alert, almost snarling when he spoke. "Then you don't know. For all your posturing, you are nothing but a servant. You know nothing but what the enemy tells you." With a contempt he spat. "Slave. With a muted howl of glee, the dread spoke.
I stand on high. I know where the sorceress one is hidden. He abides where you should have expected, at the place most unlikely to be a prison. Therefore, the most likely place. He lives in the garden.
Tomas jumped to his feet, grinning. The thing faltered, for the arm that it was holding faded into insubstantiality, as it reappeared upon Tomas's body, while the shield untwisted itself with metallic complaint and sped across the room to rest again upon his left arm. The thing moved toward Tomas, but the warrior in white slashed out with his sword. With blinding quickness, and this time, the blade bit with fury, exploding on contact with a spray of golden sparks and a loud hiss. Bitter smoke came from the contact, and the creature shrieked its muted cry of pain. It seems I'm not the only one to have given arrogant presumption, said Tomas as he drove the thing, bless you, my love, all right, back with a fury of blows. Nor are your masters the only ones capable of casting illusions. Foolish thing. Don't you know that it was I, along with my brethren, who cast you and yours from this universe? Do you think that I, Tomas, Kordash and Shigor, fear such as you? I who vanquished the Dreadlords? The thing cowered in terror and anger, its cries distant echoes. Then, with a musical tinkling, glowing clear crystalline gems erupted into the air, about the creature, each elongated rapidly, forming a latticework of transparent bars around the creature. Tomas grinned as Pug finished the mystic cage about the night-black being. The dread lashed out and sounded a muted howl of agony as it touched the transparent bars. Pug got up from where he had feigned unconsciousness and came to stand next to the creature, which attempted to reach between the glass-like bars but recoiled instantly when it touched one. It shrieked and howled, its alien voice a raucous whisper. "What is this thing?" asked Pog. "A Dreadmaster, one of the unliving, a thing whose nature is alien even to the essence of our being. It comes from a strange universe at the farthest reaches of time and space, one that only a few beings can breach and survive. It eats the very substance of life, as do all its kind when they enter this universe. It will wither grass should it step upon it. It is a creature of animated destruction, second in power only to the Dreadlords, who are beings even the Valheru are cautious of. That this thing was even brought to the city forever shows that the enemy and Myrmandamus have callous regard for the potential destruction it might unleash." He paused, a look of concern on his face. "It also makes me wonder what more is involved with this enemy than we have understood so far." He looked at Pug. "How are you?" Pug stretched and said, "I think I might have broke a rib." Moss nodded. It was lucky all you broke. It was lucky that's all you broke. Sorry, but I expected to keep it busy." Pug shrugged and winced. "What do we do with it?" He indicated the softly howling creature. "We could drive it back to its own universe, but that would be time-consuming. How long will that cage stand?" Pug said, "Normally, centuries. Here, perhaps forever." "Good," said Tomas, starting for the door. A terrified cry erupted from the thing of blackness.
"No, Master!"
It shouted.
"Don't leave me here. It will wither for ages before I die. It will be constant pain. Even now I hunger. Release me, and I will serve you, master.
Pug said, "Can we trust it?" Tomas said, "Of course not." Bear says, "Blessings. Hi ho, it's off to work I go. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Good night, Molly Sue. Rest well. It's always lovely to see you." Book 3 has so many emotional payoffs for Barry that I've been brewing since book 1. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a hell of a lot of work. I look forward to you getting it done too. Alright, where was I? Pug said, "I hate to visit torment on anything." "You always did have your tender side to your nature," said Tomas, hurrying down the stairs. Pug came after his shrieks and curses followed them. "Those beings are the most destructive in the universe," said Tomas. "Anti-life. Once set free, the common dread are difficult enough to deal with. The Dreadmasters are impossible to control." They reached the door and went outside. Tomas said, "Do you feel up to getting us back to the surface?" Pug stretched slowly, testing his tender side. "I'll manage." He incanted his spell and, holding Tomas's hand, rose into the air. Insubstantial again, they were passed into the rock ceiling of the cavern. With their departure, the only sound in the vast cave was the faint, inhuman screams that came from the top of the tower upon the island. Asked Pug. Tomas said, "It is a place which is not of the city, but apart from it." He closed his eyes, and shortly after, Riath descended from the sky. They mounted, and Tomas said, "Riath, the garden." The dragon beat into the sky, and soon they were again speeding over the odd landscape of the city forever. More alien buildings rolling by beneath them, hinting at functions but not revealing them. In the distance, if distance could be judged in this impossible place, Pug saw 7 pillars rising from the city. At first they appeared black, but as they drew closer, Pug could see tiny flecks of light contained within. Noticing his interest, Tomas said, "The Star Towers, Pug." He sent a mental command to Riath, and the dragon banked, coming very close to one of the pillars, which were arranged in a circle around a mighty open plaza, easily miles across. As they passed, Pug was astonished to discover that the pillars were composed of tiny stars, comets, and planets, miniature galaxies swirling within the confines of the pillars, locked in a void as black as true space. Tomas laughed at Pug's astonishment. "No, I don't know what they are. No one does. It may be art, maybe a tool of understanding." He paused and added, "And maybe the true universe is contained within those pillars." As they flew away, Pug looked back at the Star Towers. "Another mystery of the city forever," Tomas said. "Yes, and not even the most spectacular. Look there." He pointed to the horizon where a red glow could be seen. As they raced towards it, it resolved into a wall of flames, topped by a heat shimmer that distorted everything seen beyond. As they passed over the flames, waves of scorching heat rose to meet them. "What was that?" Tomas said. "A wall of flames. It runs roughly a mile along in a straight line. It has no apparent purpose, no reason, no use. It's simply there." They continued their flight until they approached the land free of buildings of any sort. The dragon descended towards a green area. As they dropped in altitude, Pug could see a dark circular shape outlined against the grey of rift space. Floating at the edge of the city, it is the oddest feature of this very odd place, said Tomas. "Had I your discerning nature, I might have thought of the garden when we first came here. It is a floating place of plants. Assuming Macross's powers have been neutralized, then this is the last place from which he could escape. There are many unexpected treasures hidden throughout the city forever. Besides gold and other obvious items of wealth, there are alien machines of vast power, arcane items of might, perhaps means to return to true space. But even should means of return to Big Kemi exist in the city, Macross can't get there. Pug looked down. They were 1,000 feet above the city and descending rapidly. Beyond the boundaries of the city forever, the grey of rift space could be seen. As they approached the border of the garden, Pug could see the misty falls of water descending from several points along the edge. The garden was surrounded by what Pug could think of only as a moat, but instead of water flowing along the edges of the garden, this was literally nothing. The void of rift space. They passed above the garden, and Pug could see that somehow a large circle of land floated beside the city. Atop this circle of earth, a garden of lush vegetation sat, fully covered every inch of the surface. It brimmed with meandering streams, which spilled over the edge. Fruit trees of every description could be seen. Pug said, "This is indeed a most memorable place." Tomas indicated a stone artifact. A bridge should stand there. At once Pug could see that a span had indeed once arched over the moat. It had been shattered, leaving a stone foundation on the ground. Across the moat, the twin of that foundation squatted. If this place once existed upon some real world, then whoever or whatever brought it here neglected to build the river that ran around the garden. With the bridges destroyed, there's no way to leave the garden. They began to search, skimming over the trees. Not only the varieties known to Pug from Mid-Kemia, but also many he knew from Kelawon were planted here. Along with a host of bowers from other worlds never seen before. They flew past one stand of large tubular plants that began a haunting fluting, almost a musical sound in the wind from the dragon's wings. They sped above a wine-colored stand of flowers that exploded in white as the seed pods were thrown skyward to drift upon the breeze of their passing. And, as Tomas had predicted, other bridges along the perimeter of the garden were also shattered. Small animals also could be seen scurrying below the brush, hiding from the potential predator that flew above. Then another shape appeared in the heavens, heading towards them. Faster than an arrow's flight, something hurtled through the sky directly at them. In an instant before it closed, Riath bellowed a bone-wrenching battle cry. It was answered. A giant black dragon attacked, claws extended, head craning forward with sheets of fire exploding from its maw. Tomas erected a barrier that prevented Pug and himself from being harmed by the flame. Riath answered the attack, and the two creatures joined in battle. They grappled with claw and fang as they hovered above the garden. Tomas slashed out with his blade, but could not reach the other dragon. "This is an ancient beast!" shouted Tomas. "His kind no longer exists upon Mid-Kemia. No greater black has lived there in ages." "But where did it come from?" shouted Pug, but Tomas seemed unable to hear the question. Pug felt the buffeting of the black's wings, but Tomas's spellcraft was sufficient to keep them both safely seated. They would have difficulty only should Riath not win the contest. For while Pug thought he had some idea of how the beast flew between worlds, he didn't wish to have to put those theories into practice. If Riath fell, they might be stranded here. But the golden dragon was equal in might to the black, and Tomas punished the black every time it came close enough to be struck. Pug incanted and launched an attack of his own. As crackling energy struck the enemy dragon, the beast screamed in rage and pain, throwing back its head. Riath seized the opening and bit upon the black's neck, bringing claws up to rip the less protected belly. The golden dragon's fangs could only dent the heavy scales of the neck, not break them. But the claws were certainly doing considerable damage to the black's underside. The battle carried the two mighty dragons away from the heart of the garden, until they hovered near the moat. Now the black sought to escape, but Riath's jaws held tight. Pug and Tomas felt the gold falter and begin to be dragged down. Then suddenly they were moving upward again. The black had collapsed, ceasing its hovering, and the sudden weight added had pulled Riath down. But she had released in time to prevent them from being dragged downward. Pug watched as the black fell past the edge of the garden, to vanish into the moat between it and the city, until at last it was simply... ads are starting, sorry. Good night, Destiny Love. I appreciate you for helping to hold up the bar. Rest well, and we will see you on Thursday. We're going to run ads again for our Twitch friends, and then that'll be the last set of ads for the evening. I appreciate you all being patient with it. It does bother me that Twitch makes us do it, but we don't really have much of a choice. Ashley sent holiday taters. Thank you for the holiday taters, Ashley. I appreciate you, love. Thank you kindly. Tips to the tavern keeper are always appreciated. Oh, good lord. Arthur Christie raided in 7 minutes ago and I didn't even see. Arthur Christie and friends, hello, welcome, welcome. It's good to see you all. Let me give you a toot on the raid horn, although we're in ads, so you're not going to be able to... Well, we'll wait till that's done then. Did Arthur Christie get a greeting? I was completely distracted. I apologize. Rich, I don't know if you're still in either, but have a good night, brother. I appreciate you for being here. But Macy Paul, hello, and Christy, hello. I hope you're both still in. I apologize for missing you both. Quick question, is it okay to bring a character back from the dead if it makes sense? Well, yes, but it absolutely has to make sense. It can't be some Deus Ex Machina sort of thing. You have to really put in the effort to bring them back. And it can't be something that is simple. Because if a character can be brought back to life simply, then it brings up the question in your universe, well, why isn't everything just resurrected simply? Why don't we just bring everybody back to life? Yeah, so, no, over on Twitch, we got raided on Twitch by somebody who raids us on a relatively regular basis. And I didn't see it coming. I didn't hear it coming either. So that's my fault. Good night, Monarch of the Incendiaries. Oh. Bear or any of the other moderators, any of the other barkeeps over on Twitch, can we check to see if Arthur Christie is still in? I'll give her a toot on the raid horn before we head out. I have a reason for a certain character to come back to life since it revolves around something to do with that zombie apocalypse idea I have. Ah, I see. My phone glitched. They did come through. Thank you. Thank you kindly. I didn't see anything, but thank you for the holiday taters, Ashley. I appreciate you. That's very funny. They look silly. I see her still. Okay. Tag her, let her know as soon as the ads are over. I'll greet her and give her a toot on the raid horn. But yes, Ashley, thank you for the tips to the Tavern Keeper, love. I appreciate you. They're goofy little things, aren't they? Yeah. Thank you, Frost. I appreciate you. My phone glitched and said it didn't get sent. They did. You sent 12. Arthur Christie and Macy, hello, friends. Welcome in. It's good to see you. Thank you for the raid. Let me give you a tune on the raid horn real quick. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Trying not to blow you guys' eardrums out. But welcome in. I hope that you guys Viking raspberries. Viking raspberry. I know what you mean. Viking Lord. No, I'm not a Viking Lord. They're all gone. All right. Arthur Christie, thank you for raiding in. I appreciate you very much. And Macy Paws, if you're still in, it's good to see you as well. All right, friends, we only have a few more pages left. Let's go ahead and get through it and get some songs in us. I meant to say, Lord, have mercy, my brain. That's all right, love. Just, you can relax. You're all right. Getting ready for bed and switching devices. BRB, take your time. Milu, take your time. We're going to do some songs before we head off. We've got 2 more. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3. We got 4 pages left in this chapter. Pog heard Tomas say, "You fought well, Riarth. I've never ridden one so accomplished. Even the mighty Shodaruga." Pog felt the beaming pride the dragon projected as she said,
Thou art fairly spoken, Tomas. I thank thee for thy words. But that one was an ancient male, one less mighty than I. So it was less a contest than it appeared. Had thou and Pug not crouched upon my back, I would have been less cautious. Still thine aid and Pug's counted as much.
They circled above the island in the sky and began their search again. It was a large place and the foliage was dense, but at last Pug pointed and shouted, "There!" Tomas followed his friend's direction, and there in the center of the clearing, a figure jumped up and down, waving his arms above his head. They waved back as Tomas instructed the dragon to descend. The figure staggered back, covering his eyes from the wind the huge wings caused. He was holding a staff and wore a familiar brown homespun. It was Macross. He continued to wave at them as they came down to land. His face registered resignation as the dragon touched ground. There was an odd, strangely quiet moment, and they could hear him sigh. Then he said, "I wish you hadn't done that." The universe collapsed and came crashing down upon them. It felt as if the ground had fallen out from under them. Pug staggered for a moment, then righted himself and saw Tomas doing the same. Macross leaned on his staff, looking about, then sat down upon a rock. The falling sensation slowed, then ceased, but the sky above changed as the grey of the rift space was replaced by a dazzling display of stars in an inky void. Macross said, "You should do something about the air above this island, Pug. In a moment, we'll not have it." Pug didn't hesitate, but incanted quickly and closed his eyes. Above them, the others could see a faint glowing canopy come into existence. Pug opened his eyes again. Macross said, "Well, you couldn't have known." Then his eyes narrowed and his voice rose in anger. "But you should have been clever enough to anticipate this trap." Pug and Tomas suddenly both felt such guilt as they heard when boys being reprimanded by Tomas's father for something failing in the kitchen. Pug shrugged off the feeling and said, we thought it all right, seeing you waving at us. Macros closed his eyes and leaned his head against his staff, then heaved a deep sigh. One of the problems with being my age is you look at everyone who is younger as children, and then everyone else around you is younger. It means you live in a universe of children, so you tend to scold them more than is proper. He shook his head. I'm sorry to be short with you. I was trying to warn you off. If you'd have thought to use the abilities you learned from the Eldar, we could have spoken despite the noise of the dragon. Then Tomas could have lifted me up to the dragon and we wouldn't have been in this mess. Pug and Tomas exchanged guilty glances again. Then Macros said, Still, there's nothing to be done, and no gain from recriminations. At least you got here on time. Tomas's eyes narrowed. On time? You knew we were coming, Pug said. Your message to Colgan and me said you could no longer read the future. Macros smiled. I lied. Pug and Tomas were both mute in astonishment. Macros stood up and began to pace. The truth is, when I penned my last missive to you, I could see the future, but now I really can't anymore. I lost the ability to know what was to happen when my powers were stripped away. Your powers are gone, said Pug, understanding at once what a staggering loss that would be to Macros. Above all others, Macros was the master of magic arts. And Pug could only imagine what it would feel like to be suddenly stripped of that which gave definition to your being, your existence in nature. A magician without magic was a bird without wings. Pug locked eyes with Macros for a moment, and they both knew there was a bond of understanding. In a lighter tone, Macros said, Those that put me here couldn't destroy me. I'm still a tough old walnut, but they could neutralize me. Now I am powerless. He pointed to his head. But I'm my knowledge, and you've the power. I can guide you like no other in the universe, Pug. He took a deep breath. I can gauge the situation based on superior information that which you presently possess. I know more of what faces us than anyone in the universe, thank the gods. I can help. How did you come to this place? Asked Pug. Macros motioned for them to sit, and they said. And they did. To Riath, the mage said, Daughter of Ra, there is games, no scant, upon this island of plants. If you are clever, you shall not starve. The dragon said, I shall hunt. Where the limit of the protective shell I've erected about the garden, warned Pug. I shall, answered the dragon, and she took wing. Macros looked at the pair and said, When you and I closed the rift, Pug, you directed shattering energies for my use. As a byproduct of that business, I was suddenly a beacon in the black to that which strove to pierce the barrier between worlds. The enemy, said Pug. Macros nodded. I was seized, and a battle ensued. Fortunately, as powerful as what our face is, was not without powers of my own. Pug said, I remember watching you in the vision upon the Tower of Testing, turning aside the warped rift that threatened to allow the enemy to regain that universe. Macros shrugged. You live long enough, you learn a few things, and I may be unkillable. The last was said with a note of regret. In any event, we battle for some time. How long, I cannot judge, for, as you've no doubt noticed, time has little meaning between worlds. But at last I was forced to take a stand here, in the garden, and my powers were limited. I could not quite reach the city, for there I have means to augment some of my powers with clever devices. So we battled to a standstill until my powers were stripped from me and the trap was set. Then the enemy destroyed the bridges and left, so I was forced to wait until you arrived. Then why didn't you say something in your last message? Asked Poe. We could have come sooner. I couldn't have told you to coming after me before it was time. Tomas, you needed to come to terms with yourself, and Pug, you needed the training of only the Eldar could give. And I used the time to some good purpose. I've healed some wounds and, he pointed to his staff. I've even taken up wood carving, though I don't recommend using rocks as tools. No, every moment, everything had to move at a proper pace. Now, you are fit weapons for the coming battle. He looked about. If we can manage to escape this trap. Pug regarded the glowing shell above their heads. Through it he could see the stars, but there was something odd in the way they appeared, as if they flickered in odd rhythms. What sort of trap have we encountered? The most clever sort, said Macros. A time trap. The moment you set foot upon the garden, it was activated. Those who set it are sending us back in time, at a rate of 1 day's movement backwards for each true day's passing. Right about now, you two are sitting upon a dragon looking for me. I should think, in about 5 minutes, you'll be battling the black dragon, so on and so forth. Tomas said. What must we do? Macros seemed amused. Do? At present we are isolated and rendered helpless. For those who oppose us, no, we did not defeat them in the past. For nature puts limits on such paradox. So our only hope is to break free, somehow, and return to our proper time, before it's too late. But how do we do that? Asked Pog. Sitting upon the rock, Macros rubbed his beard. Now that's the problem. I don't know, Pog. I just don't know. And so ends Chapter 11 of The Darkness at Sethanon. We finished it almost exactly on time. Brilliantly done. Chaos! Thank you for the Fest Pop. Live Fest created a treasure box. Oh, thank you for that. Chaos, thank you for the heart me and for the Fest box. Tips to the tavern keeper always appreciated. Thank you kindly. Let's see. Bear, I saw you ask something earlier. Something silly peas on the strength of your gift. Got no beard. Got no beard, alright, we'll do got no beard. Mel, of course, it's always my pleasure. We will absolutely do got no beard, Bear, absolutely. With that, I need to be off. Early day tomorrow is normal. Castle, thank you for the story as always. Rest well, Tavern family. Frost, thank you kindly, my friend. May you rest well and may you rise tomorrow, ready to conquer the day. I look forward to seeing you back on Thursday. We're doing all silly tonight, alright? We've got no beard, we've got hoist up the thing, and we've got Scotsman. Good night, Therese. Thank you for being here. And to anybody else who has to be off, good night. If you are over on the Twitch portal, we'll raid out to share the love. But for everyone else, we're going to sing a couple of songs, and then we will be off to a wonderful night until Thursday when we come back again for more story time. Alright. Let's go ahead. We'll start off with Got No Beard, requested by Bear. Douglas says, Slancher for the stories and sharing the wisdom of the books. Of course, Douglas, of course. Always my absolute pleasure and privilege. I'm glad that you joined us. I hope that you'll join us again. We do these twice a week, and as I said, the lady of the tavern, she reads on Sundays. And occasionally we'll do a little bit of waffling, just having a night here and there. The tavern folk are fine folk to be around. Company's always good when you're enjoying a night in the tavern. Now, you may want to run before we start this. At the end of every story time, we do shanties and ballads. Now, I'm not a singer by any means, but we sing together because it's good fun to do. All right, we'll do, but we all sing along together. Quick question before I'm off. When will we find out about the winner for the story contest? The lady is going to read through them. I need to put them up so that you guys can do the community vote. I'm going to put them up over in the Discord since Gilded is going to be gone in 17 days, sad. I'm put them up over in the Discord so that the community can read through them and pick a community favorite, and then we'll know soon. We'll know soon.
November 1 is due on the 14th of December?
No, we extended it out for the holidays, so it's the 26th or the 28th. That would be lovely, Douglas. Send me a message, and the lady and I work at quite a frantic schedule, but I make time for what I can. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Frost. Yeah, the contest has been sort of at the back of my mind with all that we've been doing, but I'm trying to keep up with it for sure. Wherever you like, Gunnar. I've been avoiding doing anything too much in the guild while we're moving over, just so you guys don't miss anything. The lady and I have sort of dialed back on the community content so that nobody misses anything. But once we switch completely over to Discord for the guild, we'll pick back up with the community stuff again. But I don't like spamming you guys and posting in both places. And I didn't want anybody to miss anything if they've already left Gilded and gone over to Discord, so it'll be sparse still for a little bit while we're getting things moved over. But in the meantime, you can put the chats wherever you like. Whichever is easiest and most convenient for you. Alright. We're gonna start off with Got No Beard. Yeah, we can do Johnny Tar too. That'll be the 4 we do tonight. Actually, give me just a moment, friends. I'm gonna hop up and use the facilities real quick. I'll be right back. And thank you, Ashley Love. I appreciate you for reminding me to hydrate. Because when we get into these really busy story times, I do forget. Almost chair that in the tavern we give thanks to the without you the stories may not come. Let us keep you sturdy in support. I will be honest with you, both this chair and the one the lady is sitting in are falling apart. There may be a story time in the very near future where this chair just collapses onto me. Oh gee, I have YouTube going as Castle gets up. I hear. Want to get through, you just gotta chee-hoo it. Thanks, Mal. Oh, you guys. All right. In honor of the bear, we are doing Got No Beard by the Longest Johns. I once met a man who said he was a fan. He wanted to sing in my shanty band. But the bottom of his face looked weird, so weird. There was skin on his chin that I loathed and feared. From his crown to his ear, he was most sincere, but you can't sing the shanties if you've got no beard. Got no beard, you've got no beard, you can't sing the shanties if you've got no beard. Got no beard, you've got no beard, you can't sing the shanties if you've got no beard. I once met a girl who heard sea song. She came to the show and she sang along, but the timing of the shout was so slow. She was graced with a face like a morning glow, but a holler and a blow from the very front row said you can't sing the shanties if you can't shout ho. Can't shout ho, you can't shout ho, you can't sing the shanties if you can't shout ho. Can't shout ho, you can't shout ho, you can't sing the shanties if you can't shout ho, and you've got no beard. I once met a man on a weird machine, had wheels and a bell, no mast to be seen. He was shouting from a pad of notes, no notes, and the wheels got caught in his overcoat. And he fell from the pier, clawing at his throat. You can't sing the shanties if you don't own a boat. Don't own a boat, you don't own a boat. You can't sing the shanties if you don't own a boat. Don't own a boat, you don't own a boat. You can't sing the shanties if you don't own a boat. And you can't shout ho, and you've got no beard. I once met a bloke on a excuse me. I once met a bloke on a tavern floor. He'd had 10 beers, but I'd had him more. And his piggy little face was pink, so pink. He tried to shout the words, but they were out of sync. With a voice so bad it'll make you think that you can't sing the shanties if you can't hold your drink. Can't hold your drink, you can't hold your drink. You can't sing the shanties if you can't hold your drink. You can't hold your drink, you can't hold your drink. You can't sing your shanties if you can't hold your drink. And you don't own a boat, and you can't shout ho, and you've got no beard. I once met a sailor who was big and broad, with an eye-patch parrot and a long curved sword. He had a chest like a powder keg, big chest, but he had both shoes, and he smelled like eggs. I expect he could do better with a wooden peg, 'cause you can't sing the shanties if you've got 2 legs. Got 2 legs, got 2 legs, you can't sing the shanties if you've got 2 legs. Got 2 legs, got 2 legs, you can't sing the shanties if you've got 2 legs. And you can't hold your drink, and you don't own a boat, and you can't shout ho, and you've got no beard. Well, Anna's got no beard, and Dave has a bike. Robbie's father-in-law has a boat, but he won't sing on the mic. And JD shouts ho, and JD can't shout ho, 'cause his wife takes much offense. And Nanny's got 2 beautiful hairy legs. But there's no reason good enough not to join us, to sing along with the very last chorus. 2, 3, 4, you've got no beard, you've got no beard. You can't sing the shanty if you've got no beard. You got no beard, you got no beard. You can't sing the shanty if you've got no beard. You got no beard, you got no beard. You can't sing the shanty if you've got no beard. Got no beard, you've got no beard. You can't sing the shanty if you've got no beard. And you've got 2 legs, and you can't hold your drink, and you don't own a boat, and you can't shout ho, and you've got no beard. Always a fun one, and it always gets me all twisted up. Lake Lady, hello, it's good to see you. Thank you kindly for the heartbeat. Tips to the tavern keeper are always appreciated. Thank you very much. Grab your seat. We're doing songs before we head out. I'll not get to read them and vote on them because I can't get on the Discord. I use both my phone number and my email address and nothing works. So I can't get on. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'll miss it if I can't get something to work, but I'm trying. Teresa, you're gonna have to message Discord through their thing. It is, hi, my best friend Lake Lady sent me here. Well, hello, Mom of Seven, welcome in. I am Castle, this is my tavern, and here we talk about myth and lore and tales of yore, and every now and again I read you all a story. Unfortunately, you and Lake Lady have missed the story for this evening, but we'll have more on Thursday, right around the same time. But you are in time for the worst part of the show, which is the shanty singing. Oh, but welcome in, I'm glad to have you. And thank you for the follow. You've marked the tavern on your map. You should be able to find your way back now the next time you seek a story. For this is a tavern at the end of the world where all stories eventually come to rest. And we are but their humble keepers, passing them on and making sure they make it out into the world. Yes, as Tyson has said, we don't sing well, we sing to have a good time. Because you have no beard. That's the spirit, Douglas, that's the spirit. Yes, we'll definitely be here next time. And in the meantime, there are dozens upon dozens of stories that you can go and enjoy if you are a fan of mythology, if you like history, if you like storytelling, or if you just enjoy talking about books and stories in general. You will find a plethora of things having to do with all of that. Actually, lately I've been talking a lot about language and names and whatnot. I never come at the night time, to be fair. I was at work. Well, that's all right, Masarino. Masriano. Now, Masriano, have you been in before? Because recently YouTube changed everybody's name as I see them. So if you've been in before, it's probably different. I stay on your YouTube. Well, very good. I'm glad. I hope you enjoy. Thank you for the hot chocolate, Lake Lady. I appreciate you. Thank you kindly for that. And I hope that you enjoy the stories through the YouTube portal. You get longer ones if you go over there. The lady and I do longer sort of almost essays about mythology and history and such. I'm glad. I'm very glad. The lady and I put a lot of work into it. So I'm glad that you guys enjoy. You're totally not helping with new words for breed. Okay, let's see. We had Got No Beard. That was Bear's request. We had Hoist Up the Thing. And then we had The Scotsman. And then the lady requested Johnny Tar. The Scotsman and Hoist Up the Thing are relatively easy. So I'm going to do Johnny Tar first because that one takes some actual singing. But the Scotsman and Hoist Up the Thing are more silly, so they don't take as much work. Mel says, good night, sir and lady. Good night to all. Good night, Mel. I hope you've been enjoying the stories, and I'll see you on Thursday. We'll be on a little bit earlier on Thursday. I know the schedule of this last week because of the holiday was a little bit messed up. But we'll be back on normal for the most part through December. I'm going to try and make, because the lady and I will be away from here. I'm going to see if I can still make Storytime work while we're away. Even if it's just hopping on to read the chapter so that we can all have Storytime, we'll do that. But from the 14th onward, we will be away from the tavern. So we'll see what happens. I'll let you guys know what's going to go on, all right? Thank you, Lake Lady. I appreciate you. All right, let's do Johnny Tar. Now, if you've never heard Johnny Tar before, it's kind of a big hit. We're going to be working the whole time that we're gone. Do a clip reading "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" in a clip. We have it, but I will probably do Christmas stories around Christmas. We'll probably do a Christmas special because we're not going to be out of town for Christmas itself. We'll be here for Christmas itself, but we will do some Christmas stories around the time. Funny because my ancestors are Scots, and I love my culture and wearing my kilt. There you go. You gotta love it. Just so I can let my babies hear you read it. You know what, Lake Lady? If you go over to Endless Epic, I have a couple of stories that are recorded that you can watch as much as you want. I do some public domain stuff over on Endless Epic that you can play, and I don't know if I did the night before Christmas, but I think I did the Grinch. I might have. I don't remember. There's definitely some story over there that's akin to that. Yeah, Johnny Tar, Milu. They'll be here this weekend, and we will do just that spectacular. I hope you'll enjoy. In the beacons stack in the bio inside of beacons, you can find Endless Epic, which is my reading only channel. Mascariano, you said I am Irish and Scottish trying to dig into my roots. Well, here's a good place to do it. We tell stories and history and myth, and I talk about my family's particular traditions, which are not exactly strictly Irish. I grew up in Ireland, but my family were Scandinavian and Irish, or are, I should say. So our traditions are a little bit different, and my grandfather's family is a little bit isolated on that way. I know my grandpa's last name was Stott. Doesn't ring a bell off the top of my head, but I have records. If you are curious about those sorts of things, you guys can send me messages or leave them in comments if you like. If you want to be nice, leave it in a comment and then I can respond to it, and it helps the tavern. But if you want to send me a message, you can just do that too, and I will I'll respond as I am able to any questions you guys have. All right, let's do Johnny Tar. Let's go. Let me tell you a little story about a man named Johnny Tar. He was a hard-drinking son of a preacher, always at the bar. Lager from the tap for shots and paddy from the shelf. He can open his throttle and throw back the bottle as quick as the devil himself. Johnny Tar. And word got around that Johnny Tar was no pretender. From Clare to here they'd look up the beer when Johnny went on the bender. Down at Dickie Max, the rising sun, or at the Swan. He was drinking by 7, by 10 to 11, well all the booze would be gone, Johnny Tar. And even if you saw it yourself, you wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't trust a person like me if I were you. Sure I wasn't there, I swear I have an alibi. I heard it from a man who knows a fella who says it's true. It was 9 in the morning, on a cold and rainy night. Johnny walked into the Casa Bar, looking to get tight. He had money in his pocket, he had whiskey in his eye. He said, "Get up off your asses and set up the glasses. I'm drinking this place dry." Now all the serious boozers, they were soon broken-hearted when Johnny finished off 6, and he was only getting started, guzzling down the pints and knocking 'em back like candy. He was looking all right to be drinking all night, then Nora brought out the brandy, Johnny Tar. And even if you saw it yourself, you wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't trust a person like me if I were you. Sure I wasn't there, I swear I have an alibi. I heard it from a man who knows a fella who says it's true. Johnny drank the whole damn bottle, had another pint or two. When it made no impression, he started an obsession with Murphy's Millennium Brew. He was waiting for his pint, when his face turned green. Jesus, Johnny fell down after only 15, and you could have heard a pin drop, and the crowd let out a roar. It took 5 Cork women to lift Johnny off the floor. The doctor looked him over and said, "You better call the hearse. But it's not what you're thinking, it wasn't the drinking. This man died of thirst." Johnny Tar. Gaelic Storm is spectacular, Douglas. And even if you saw it yourself, you wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't trust a person like me if I were you. Sure, I wasn't there, I swear I have an alibi. I heard it from a man who knows a fellow says it's true. And even if you saw it yourself, you wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't trust a person like me if I were you. Sure, I wasn't there, I swear I have an alibi. I heard it from a man who knows a fellow who says it's true. Ah, Johnny Tarr. Yeah, it's all right, Douglas. I know what you mean. It's all good, it's all good. All right, lovely friends, thank you for the song. And now we are going to... Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate your love. Let's do the Scotsman. Let's see if I can still do a Scottish accent. With how tired my voice is. Sounds like a feat if it took 5 Cork women to get him off the floor. It would have had to have been. It would have had to have been. Well, tell Mad Mick. Well, I guess I'll say greetings to you, Mad Mick. Make sure Bear doesn't overdo it. As we're constantly saying, it's become a refrain at this point. All right, Scotsman and his kilt. Well, the Scotsman clad in kilt left the bar one evening fair. One could tell by how he walked he'd drunk more than his share. He fumbled round until he could no longer keep his feet, and he stumbled off into the grass to sleep beside the street. Ring ding diddly di oh, ring ding diddly I ho. He stumbled off into the grass to sleep beside the street. And about that time 2 young and lovely girls just happened by. One says to the other with a twinkle in her eye, see yon sleeping Scotsman so strong and handsome built. I wonder if it's true what they don't wear neath their kilt. What aren't you overdoing, Bear? That's the question. That's the real question. Ring ding diddly I oh, ring ding diddly I ho ho. I wonder if it's true what they don't wear neath their kilts. They crept up on the sleeping Scotsman quiet as could be, lifted up his kilt about an inch so they could see, and there behold for them to view beneath his Scottish skirt was nothing more than God had graced him with upon his birth. Ring ding diddly I oh, ring ding diddly I ho ho. Was nothing more than God had graced him with upon his birth. They marvelled for a moment, then one said we must be gone. Let's leave a present for a friend before we move along. As a gift they left a blue silk ribbon tied into a bow. Around the bonny star the Scotsman kilt did lift and show. Ring ding diddly I oh, ring ding diddly I ho ho. Around the bonny star the Scots kilt did lift and show. Now the Scotsman woke to nature's call and stumbled toward the trees. Behind the bush he lifts his kilt and gawks at what he sees. And in a startled voice to what's before his eyes. Oh, and in a startled voice he says to what's before his eyes, lad, I don't know where you've been, but I see you won first prize. Ring ding diddly I oh, ring ding diddly I ho ho. Lad, I don't know where you've been, but I see you won first prize. Thank you for the song, my friends. 'Tis no true self-respecting Scotsman wears but socks and shoes beneath his kilt. There you go. All right, last song for the evening, my friends. We are doing Hoist Up the Thing. Another one by the Longest Johns from their very successful album from the 2020s. chilling, listening, and drinking beer. As you ought. As you ought. I'm already damaged, but Mick is doing most of the work, and I'm making sure he's hydrated. See, you're old enough now, you're supposed to be a delegator. That's what my mother would always say when she would make us do stuff. She'd always be like, I'm a delegator. you get to a certain age and you delegate. All right, and this is a song about a guy that steals a ship, essentially. Fresh out of college with grades straight from hell, I browse for a trade at which I could excel. An ad for a ship in need of some manning, men sails in purpose but lacking a captain. What luck, says I, to find such good fortune. A few white lies later I ran down the pier. I bought me a coat and a cutlass or two, jumped on the deck and I yelled at the crew. Hoist up the thing, batten down the what's-it. What's that thing spinning? Somebody should stop it. Turn hard to port. That's not port, now I've got it. Trust me, I'm in control. I can't sing the shanties, it has to be said, and all of that grog just goes right to my head. Whale meat is gross, it is, and I miss a girl's laugh. 5 weeks at sea, and even Dave seems a catch. Dave's a pretty good guy. Hoist up the thing, batten down the what's-it. What's that thing spinning? Somebody should stop it. Turn hard to port. That's not port, now I've got it. Trust me, I'm in control. We've hit icy waters, no lands to be seen. The food's getting low and the beer has gone green. There's murmurs of discontent under the deck. If I don't act fast, it could be my neck. So pull up the charts and those weird gold machines. I see what it says, but I've no clue what it means. Just pull on some levers and yank on some chains, and feign a bad back till we've landed again. Hoist up the thing, batten down the what's-it. What's that thing spinning? Somebody should stop it. Turn hard to port. That's not port, now I've got it. Trust me, I'm in control. Hoist up the thing, batten down the what's-it. What's that thing spinning? Somebody should stop it. Turn hard to port. This is jail, now I've got it. Trust me, I'm in control. Ah, help me. Trust me, I'm in control. Ah. Thank you for the songs, my friends. Absolutely lovely as always. Ah. Lies on his resume and still gets the job. There you go. Exactly that, Tyson. Thanks, Gaza, for another wonderful evening of reading. Sending my love and all of our love to you and the wonderful King of Corn himself. I hope you're both feeling well. I hope he's feeling better. And I hope you're both having a wonderful week. I appreciate you all sticking with us through the tumult of the holidays. We had planned to be a little bit more active during the but we just had so much going on, it's been near impossible. Gobforge, again, if anyone who's viewing through the YouTube portal, if I've seen you before, I apologize. YouTube changed everybody's names, so if your name is changed, I won't know. If Castle is a good boy, we will see a much more glorious beard in the weeks to come. It is going to be quite glorious indeed. I will make sure that the lady and I put me through the rigors to make sure that it stays absolutely lovely and becomes more beautified as time comes on. Thank you, love. We're feeling a lot better. Good. I'm glad to hear it. Very glad to hear it. Slanche my friend. Haben Sie einen wunderbaren Tag, as I would say to Tyson. It's in 2 different languages. All right, my friends. Well, I feel that this is where I should send you all off to bed, because before Twitch makes us run more ads. This is it for tonight. We will be back on Thursday. We should be starting on time if all goes well. We'll be reading Harry Potter Book 7 on Thursday. There will be new stories out every single day for the month of December. We are attempting to do the impossible with the tavern, but there will be new stories every day. There'll be new long stories, at least once a week, maybe a little bit more if I can manage them. And we will be gone from the 14th for a week starting on the 14th, but we will still try to do at least one story time while we are away, and then we will try to do a Christmas thing as well, do a Christmas story time. Good evening. We will see you again. Thank you, Douglas. It was wonderful to have you, my friends. You were a brilliant addition. We hope to see you back again. Thank you for reading and singing. Thank you, Milo, for being here. You're always so lovely. Sad to see it end, but always a great pleasure to spend time in the tavern. I tip my hat to the tavern keeper and the lady of the tavern. Thank you all. Thank you, Gunnar. Always a pleasure, brother. Always a pleasure. Good night, Matty. Nitso, have a great night, my friend. It's good to see you. Bonne nuit. All right, my friends. It's lovely to see you all. If we're over on Twitch, we will be, of course, raiding out to share the love, but for everybody else, this is where we end for the night. I appreciate you all for joining us in the tavern. It was lovely. And we will return, even though it is sad. It's always sad. Ashley says, to all my tavern friends and family, have a beautiful night, and a beautiful night to you as well. And while it is always sad when we are parting and the doors must close, you can lock the doors behind you or be here in the morning, no worries. Excellent. They will open again, my friends, the next time you seek a story. So until then, I will bid you all stay bloodthirsty, my friends, and I will see you next time. Have a good night.